a go for main engine start. We have main engine start. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello and welcome to the SSL Gold Cup. It's the qualifying series. It's group number 6. It's the golden day. Today we're going to find out which two teams will qualify to the grand finals, not the grand finals, but the finals of Bahrain. My name is Thomas Bjørnlys and I'm going to host you today, but I'm not all alone today. I'm actually so pleased to have a star with me, the captain of Team Mexico, Yannick Gentry. Welcome in studio.
Thank you. Thanks for having me here.
Yeah, and Yannick, crazy race yesterday. You took a bullet and a second place, everything. So what are we going to see today? Because 3 teams can literally win this, but all teams has a chance to go to the finals.
So today is the golden day. That's what they call it. It's all or nothing. Even the Team Oman can be winning the round. So we have to keep an eye on each boat, sail obviously in the front, and I think the decisive race will be the last race of the day. So I hope my team takes it step by step and doesn't think ahead right now. Just first race, then the second one.
First race and then the second one. This is the SSL Gold Cup, the Football World Cup, but just in sailing. And let's go in and see what we're going to see today, because we have the qualifying series. You can see it's group number 6. It's Guatemala, it's Team Oman, it's Team Cuba, it's Team Mexico. Top 2 will go into the next round, and that is the finals of Bahrain. And they will qualify to the one of the 32 finals. And then afterwards, we will find who will go into the next round, where some of the seeded teams is already qualified. This way it works is that the SSL Gold Cup has a ranking list of all teams and also sailors, and this way the teams has been ranked. So right now they're fighting to go all the way to Bahrain. But before that, let's see the highlights of yesterday.
We have a go for main engine start. We have main engine start. 4, 3, 2, 1.
The SSL Gold Cup Qualifiers Series Round 4 is on the taking. Race 3. It all began with Oman taking the lead with Guatemala. After a close battle, Cuba took the lead just before the top mark. Mexico and Oman arrived at portside, rounding the mark in second and third place. During the downwind, Mexico passed Cuba and arrived first at the gate. Cuba rounded second and closed the left side of the gate. Behind the leaders, Oman and Guatemala was battling for third and fourth place. During the second lap, Mexico stayed in front and took the bullet, followed by Cuba in second. Guatemala got the third place during the last downwind. Battling it out with Oman, they finished in fourth position. In Group 6, Round 4 in the SSL Gold Cup qualifying series, Cuba started race number 4 best and kept this lead for the first upwind mark, followed by Mexico and Guatemala. Cuba stayed ahead and Guatemala took second place during the downwind, as they were the fastest boat. Arriving at the second top mark rounding, Cuba was still in the lead, but Mexico was playing with the wind on the right of the race course and managed to get the second place at the weather mark. Guatemala third and Oman fourth. Cuba won the race and Mexico was just behind them, which gave them 7 points in total for both of the teams today. Guatemala took third place and Oman fourth. Overall, a super tight battle between the top 3 teams. Perfect scenario for the golden day, where all the point counts double.
I think it's a very tough fleet, and this kind of conditions it's very easy to make mistakes tactically and strategically. We couldn't find the right rhythm on the boat, and tomorrow's another day. I mean, we just go race by race, and hopefully tomorrow we'll do our job okay.
Minus 10, 9, 8. We have a go for main engine start. We have main engine start. 4, 3, 2, 1.
We were just sitting here in studio and talking about yesterday. Quite some goosebumps we have there, and especially that finish in the last race where Cuba came in and did an extra jibe towards the finish line, and you said, wow, now you can win it, or what?
When we saw Cuba jiving there, I thought this might be the chance to take the win on this race, because they slowed down like it's normal. You slow down when you make a maneuver in these big boats, and at the end they managed to pull it off correctly and beat us by 1 meter. For me, at least at the wheel in the back, I was feeling like it was a win for only the bowsprit. So this was very exciting for us.
A win only for the bowsprit, and that's what's coming up. But let's compare the teams and let's see how they're ranked. We have 4 teams today coming up, and first of all, we are going to see 2 races, and the first race starts already here at 10, actually, and then it's going to be hard breeze in the start, and then the wind will be a little bit more light, and so 2 fast races today coming up, and the teams are going to fight for it. And you talked about Cuba. Cuba, we call them the underdogs when we compare the teams, but are they underdogs?
I wouldn't put it that way. They have a great captain. He's 3 times Pan American champion. That's something not to. That's not something that I would say an underdog. Nelido knows pretty much what he's doing, and he has a great team that have been working a lot, and they have showed what they've got out there.
And with that said, let's see the teams here. Team Cuba, the Pirates of Caribbean, and they were quite Pirates-like yesterday because they really attacked and attacked. For the first time we saw them were aggressive. They're only ranked 17 on the SSL rank. That's why we call them the underdogs. The captain, Nelido Manso Lopez, and he has a total weight on the boat of 750.5 kilos. Then we have Guatemala. The Guatemalan Jaguars have a very fantastic day one, and yesterday things didn't work for the captain, Juan Ignacio Megli, and they're ranked 44, so they're actually the favorites if we are looking into the ranking. A total team weight at 721 kilos. Then we have yourself, Yannick Gentry, Team Mexico, Las Catrinas. You're ranked 47 on the SSL team ranking list, and you weigh only 709.1 kilos. And Team Oman, the Lions of the Sea, SSL rank 66, team weight of 726.8 kilos, led by Nasser Al-Masari. And one thing, Yannick, this weight difference, you guys are the lightest team. Is that an issue?
I think it matters. The weight is important to have. It's important to have weight on the rail to flatten the boat and go for max speed. If I'm not wrong, I think we are about the same weight as Cuba for today, by 715. But it's also important to have an optimum trimming. We can, if you depower the sail correctly, you can make the boat go fast, and then we can also substitute the weight by an optimum boat trimming.
Fantastic. And with all that said, let's join in and see the provincial overall score, because today we are in for a fight. This is the SSL Gold Cup qualifying series. This is today we are going to see top 2 qualify all the way to Bahrain. And right now it looks like Guatemala is in the lead. 2 victories, but also 2 third places with 12 points. Cuba, a last place, 2 second place, and a victory with 11 points. Team Mexico, a second last, a victory, and a second place with 10 points. And then Team Oman with 10 points, and then Team Oman with 6 points. They had 2 second last and 2 last positions. So as you might see, if you're a sailor out there, normally in sailing they're following the low point system, but a victory gives 4 points. But today, Yannick, it's golden day, so it's double points. So 2 races, 8 points for the winner in each race. Can everybody win this?
Of course they can. This day is the most important day of this qualifying round, and everyone can win. So I hope my team has the eyes out there they're ready to sail in the front from the start.
And if you want to follow all this with beautiful pictures and all the news straight away, then go to our social medias following it. It is the SSL Gold Cup, the Football World Cup, but just in sailing. And with that said, let's go into an interview with Team Guatemala.
No, I think we knew right from when this format was announced that the last day was going to be very important with double points. We're in a scenario where we're barely on the lead, but it's just like approaching this as this was day one. We're pretty much tied on points with everybody else, so we'll just go out there, have fun today, get 2 good races in, which I think yesterday we sailed well. We had good starts, good strategy, but just somehow things weren't quite working for us, and we made the best that we could and ended up with 2/3. So hopefully today things work out a little bit better. No, I think this stronger breeze is perfect for not only for our team but also for the event. It's a dream scenario to have a day like today with good winds. It's fun for the sailors and also for the spectators, and then also being tight on points. It's a winner takes all scenario, so I think it'll be great for the viewers and for our sport.
It's amazing to hear the captain of Guatemala, and you know him quite well. I heard that Guatemala and Mexico is really fighting it out through the years. So is it right what he's saying? I had a bad day yesterday and we're now fighting for it.
Well, yes, it's all about keeping it consistent during the series. Nothing is decisive until the end, and that's what Juan is saying. He's a very experienced sailor. There are up and downs in a racing series, and you just have to keep the mind calm and always do your best the next race.
But one thing I heard all of you, almost all teams saying today, there's no day after today. Tomorrow it's either you go into the finals or you're out. So there's a little bit nervosity out there. You guys are a little bit up and running on it?
You mean yesterday?
No, today.
Today.
There's no tomorrow.
There's no tomorrow. It's the last day. The last day to decide who's going to Bahrain. There's all teams can be in Bahrain, to be honest. And I've sailed in the Pan American Games and other championships together with together with Cuba and Guatemala. We know each other and we know probably mostly our strengths and weaknesses. This is something to consider. But I think all teams are very strong, and there's a chance that everyone can win the event and qualify for the Gold Cup in Bahrain.
And qualify for the Gold Cup in Bahrain, and that's what it's all about. But let's go in and see the team lineups. Let's see Team Guatemala. And it's quite, when I'm looking into the Yannick, they are 10 persons on the boat. There can be between 8 and 10 persons at the boat at the time. They have this floater, Perez. There's there's running around and helping on different positions. But then they have the family of Meglin, and then they have the tactician, Isabella Maria, that's really doing a great job. And then they have this Jay Hess, the main trimmer. What do you know about these? Because these sailors are very known in the Pan Americans.
Well, they have a great lineup. The Megli siblings, they are both Olympians. Jason, he's been around in many important events, even winning two Pan American Games. He's, I think, a great asset for this team. We all know this, and we respect him a lot. They also have a great bowman. Katia, she's been also around sailing with Jason on the Nacra. This is a great team, and they have showed results in continental games, and I think it's a good team, Guatemala.
It's a very good team. Until now, they've been showing quite some strain. It's not for fun. We're calling the Jaguars. And then let's go in and see Team Oman. Team Oman, coming a little bit like Team Cuba, they're joining in this Pan-American group and not knowing the other teams. And their captain, Ala Masari, on the trimmer position. Normally we don't see the captains on trimmer position, but in this case, he is. He's actually also the biggest and the strongest on the team, so that's very, very, very important for them. But they have Al Hadi and also the other Al Hadi, both of them on the 49er boat, and been doing quite some campaigns there. But the most important part is the young floater they have out there. Al Wasahabi, he's the young talent. 9 medals already in the Optimist and the Lasers. Is he having a big future in front of him?
I'm pretty sure he is. I met him the first time in this qualifying round when he was on the podium at the opening ceremony. I was impressed by all his achievements, and that was my first thought. This is the upcoming champion and promise in sailing. And to be honest, we usually see this from nations like Great Britain or New Zealand, but this time Oman, this is great to see a country that has such good sailors.
It's amazing to see, especially the mix of routine sailors, young couplings, and also the young talent. And then, most of all, it's a mix both of female sailors and male sailors on the water. Next team coming up is Team Cuba. Team Cuba are the Pirates of Caribbean, they're calling themselves, and they are absolutely underdogs at this event, but still you're not saying, hey, I'm not surprised they are performing this way. The captain is on the helm, Manso Lopez, doing a great job, but he's not all alone. He has quite some routine sailors there. What do you know about Team Cuba?
Yes, like you mentioned, the captain also driving the boat. He's a sailing legend in Cuba. He's known also around all Pan America. He's have had many good results, and myself, I've sailed with some of them, seen them also in these continental games. That's when we see each other the most often. Daniel, a good friend of the laser class and the Ilka 7 class, he's been around there and pushing good, showing good results as well.
But there's one thing with Team Cuba. You guys from Mexico and Guatemala are sailing on lakes normally, but Team Cuba is not sailing on lakes and don't have the same conditions as you guys. So is it surprising that they're actually performing this well, or is Manso Lopez really so good of collecting his team and carrying them up?
It's about teamwork. It's not only about one person on the boat. The boat has to, all the 9 or 10 crew members on board have to work together to make everything work. Nelido, he's used to sail on a 2-boat for the games where he won his medals, the Snipe, and now he has to coordinate a lot of people. And they had 10 days before us of training here at the lake that they managed to get everything organized. I think they also had some opportunities to see how the wind is behaving around this lake, and this gives a sort of advantage in my opinion, but they are doing a great job out there, and I'm happy about it.
Really happy about it. And then we have last in the end, Team Mexico, your own team. And who else to present than that, the captain? If you have to say, I was quite amazing about Eric Brockman, how he really did a great job as tactician yesterday. But you chose to switch position. You were the helm yesterday, and today you're sitting in Perez.
Yes, this lineup is one option that we could have, but actually many of them are great sailors, Mexican sailors. We've never been all together on a boat. There is a variety of classes, big boat classes, and also Olympic classes. We can actually have a different configuration than this and also perform and have a sail in the front. Fernando Perez, he recently comes from a great J70 campaign, winning some regional games, national championships. The national J70 league in Mexico is very strong. He's used to drive, and he does it very well. So I'm sure they are going to show us what they got. It's a very good decision. and to have him on the helm. And I have no doubts about this.
This is going to be interesting today because it's all or nothing all day, and you're sitting here in studio and seeing everything up front like all of the viewers out there. And with that said, let's go into an interview with Team Mexico.
Yes, I think first day we did things very good, but at the end results were not what we were expecting. Yesterday we had a better day. And as you say, today we have double points, so we are where we wanted to be for the last day, which is like still in contention and tied on the points. So I think today is all or nothing. So we are kind of expecting a very tight racing day with a little more breeze than the other days. So it's going to be kind of a nice sailboat day racing. No, I mean, I think we've been training since Monday with quite different conditions. We know this race course is kind of shifty and can bring up some surprises, but I think we're ready to sail with whatever comes, and we've been getting better every day, so we're very excited to come into the final day today.
Wow, Yannick, hearing the helm talking about, hey, we didn't have a good first day, we had a very good second day. And you can at the same time look at him, he's actually a little bit nervous. I heard Cabildo, he was talking with one of the other ones down there. He said, "Oh, are you nervous today?" And he actually meant, "I am nervous today." So how does it feel to represent your nation and really fight for this one?
This is huge. I think this feeling to be nervous is good, it's important. It's a reaction, a natural reaction. Everyone acts differently, but if you can control this nervousness and take it, you can actually transform it into energy, and then you end up being very focused on doing what you have to do. And I think this is the case with Fernando Perez. This is the case also with me sometimes. I like to be nervous before a big day. Actually, if I'm too calm, too relaxed, then this sometimes doesn't work for me. So I think it's good that he's nervous. He should. He's representing Mexico. Everyone is cheering for him. They're all looking up for us, and they want us out there.
And with that said, proud of representing your nation. One of the special things of the SSL Gold Cup, the Football World Cup, but in sailing, is that here we have the national anthems of all teams. Please welcome Team Guatemala. Wow, seeing Team Guatemala really fighting for it. They are in the lead right now, so they have all the chances to go all the way to Bahrain. But one of the teams that needs to surprise us a little bit today is Team Oman. They didn't succeed the two first days, but we have seen them how focused they are and actually doing great races.
I think they were the last team to come here for training, so it's important also to have a little bit of flow to get used to the boat, and this is why they've been showing better performance day by day.
With that said, let's have the national anthem of Team Oman. Team Oman has something to fight for today, but a victory can change the whole scoreboard, and then they are back in the racing. But one of the teams that surprised us quite some is Team Cuba. So please welcome Team Cuba. Such a joy of seeing Team Cuba here. But one team we're really looking forward also to invite in is Team Mexico. Wow. Just see how my co-commentator Yannick is smiling, seeing his own team doing this. But we will not be all alone today. Of course, we have our fantastic, beautiful on-water reporter, Rekela.
Yeah, good morning, Thomas. Good morning, Yannick, and to everybody out there. It's a beautiful day on Lake Neuchâtel. The sun is shining bright. La bise, the wind from the north, is blowing very strong, and the water is very choppy. The lake is super wavy today. So I think we have all the ingredients to have a perfect sailing day, very challenging. And like Yannick said, it's good to be nervous. Well, we are nervous because it's a double point day, so anything can happen. And I can see already the team. The boats are going much faster than yesterday, and the assets are completely different. So we're going to have a good racing day. Can't wait for it to start.
Fantastic to hear, Rekela. We'll come back to you because there's under 4 minutes to the start, and we're going to talk which type of race we're going to do. It's going to be what we normally call an LA2. This means if you're new to sailing, we're going over the starting line, then we're zigzagging all the way up to what we call a top mark, rounding the top mark, going to the offset mark, then we are going downwind, jibing, zigzagging towards a gate. Here we need to choose which side we want to go to, racing upwind again to the top mark, the offset mark, and then race for the finish line. And Yannick, where's the battle going to be in these wind conditions? Because we have a start and a finish here.
Absolutely at the start. The start is one of the most important parts of the sailing, and that's where the battle is going to be. Also in the approaches to the marks, there's going to be some battle, and both at the gate and at the top mark.
So the gate mark and the top mark is where we need to focus what's going to happen. 2 minutes and 40 seconds to the start. And Yannick, you were on the water yesterday. Today there's a little bit more wind. The boat is sailing faster. So what are you guys doing on the boat right now?
I think this is something that is in our advantage. The more wind, the more tricky it gets with the coordination of the team, and our team is very good organized. We have a great lineup for this, and this is one of our strengths, is the making the maneuvers sharp and also keeping the boat fast at all the time.
So keeping speed in the boat, making the maneuver fast. Here we see Team Guatemala. We see one is standing there at helm, looking out, but he's getting a lot of information of the team. Less than 2 minutes to the start. And the difference from this boat, the SSL 47, and the other boats you're normally sailing, called dinghy classes, is that here you need to come with speed to the starting line. So can you explain, how do you normally start a dinghy boat? What's the difference here?
Both me and the captain of Guatemala, Juan Ignacio Megli, are professionals in the ILCA 7 class. It's a dinghy sailed by one person. It's very light. Even the person on board is heavier than the boat, so you can actually make the boat accelerate with your own body from 0 to maximum speed in a small distance. So in the dinghy, in our case, we stay actually very close to the line, not so far back to accelerate at full speed by the gun of the start. These boats, they have more momentum, which you have to create. They're much heavier, and this is why you have to come from a little bit further back to start with maximum speed.
Yeah, with maximum speed. And here we see the teams. They're actually far, far away from the starting line. They're trying to speed up to come in. There's 43 seconds to the start. Team Oman is on the right-hand side. We have the starting line. We have something called the committee boat. That's closest to the boat and a pin end mark. And it looks like the battle is going to be at the committee boat right now. We have 3 teams clutching up together, and another team here on the right-hand side all by themselves. Here we have Team Oman. They are actually caught outside the gate. They are going behind the other boats, trying to find some space, trying to find it. 14 seconds to the start, 10 seconds. This is deciding. The bow it's telling how much coming in. It's clean. Cuba doing a very good start at the Pinamay. Stop. No, it's free. It's still a slow start, but they come with speed. Cuba is doing a good one. Oman captured behind Cuba, and it looks like Mexico is captured behind Guatemala in this case. So what can we tell about this start, Yannick?
Yes, as you could see, Mexico and Guatemala were fighting a little bit to get the leeward position. A leeward position of a start is an advantage position because you can make the boat go fast without having disturbance in the wind. So there we could see Guatemala try to get this position, but they were coming a little bit late, and Mexico managed to defend their position quite well.
So a good start, they defended it over there, but I have to say, yet again, the underdogs of Team Cuba, great start by them. Mexico controlling Guatemala. So right now, this is a good start for Cuba and Mexico if they want to go into the finals, because Guatemala and Oman is kept behind them and now need to fight for coming back in it. And one thing we can see on our data here in studio is that straight away, because Oman was under such a big pressure, see, they are on the opposite side, they need to tack opposite, and now they're tacking back. If you're new to sailing, then imagine there's a line in front of the boat of Oman, the sailing direction they have, there's a line in front of the other boat. So this means when they meet, there are some certain rules. Oman is sailing what we call starboard right now, meaning they have to right away if the other boats are tacking to the right-hand side, so they need to stay clear there. But a small battle, 3 boats, is that giving free of choice for Team Oman?
Well, Oman, apparently he didn't have the best start, so he had to look for clean air. That's why they had to tack out. Now they're coming back to get close to the fleet. This is almost like a match race. You have to stay close to the fleet. And they have enough distance between the other boats to create this speed and try to sail what is called low mode. On low mode you can sail a lower angle but faster angle, and this way you sail free of wind and you get closer and faster to the fleet or to the side you want to go.
So just to tell everybody out there, you can see these lines behind the boat. Here we have Cuba side by side with Mexico. Cuba is losing the lead a little bit, but there's no difference in between 12 meters in this boat. But the way it works is that they are sailing with an angle towards the wind. Like a speedboat, you cannot just sail straight out. You really need to focus on these angles, and the angle is deciding how much you're capturing the wind and how much speed you're getting into this boat classes. But one thing is for sure, yesterday you only have 6 knots of wind. Today you have almost 10 knots of wind. This is meaning that the angle of the boats has changed. I know that because I know the polar diagrams. So today it's a whole other game for all the teams.
Yes, this line is the reference. It's called ladder rungs, and they indicate which boat is depending on the wind and closest to the lead. As you can see here, the boats they're going to the left, probably because they're trying to look for some land shift. This, as we already stated, it's a lake, and usually these shifts they come bigger on the side, so that's why I'm pretty sure they're trying to go and take the left. You can see Guatemala in the leeward side still going on that side, they're protected. They're probably watching something out there.
They are watching for something. Here we have Team Mexico. We are seeing Perez. He's really focused, and you can see today they're really battling to keep the wheels steady, because there are waves out there pushing the boat, pushing the rudder, and at the same time Eric is standing behind the tacticians, looking out when to tag, when not to tag, because Cuba is actually placed in a good position where they both can cover up Mexico and Guatemala, they just need to stay put and wait until what Mexico and Cuba is doing in this case.
Yes, Cuba, okay, there's attack. Mexico just protected the position by tacking aggressively over Guatemala. They are tactically doing a good choice. They're trying to get them in bad air and push them to the wrong side, which is it's a great maneuver to watch. As you can see, Cuba, he's just keeping going. He's trying to look further for this strategy they probably talked about before the race, and not tacking back with the fleet.
So now we have a match race, Mexico versus Guatemala. That's an important one. This means that Cuba right now is a little bit free to sail like they want to, but Oman coming in. Here we have the starboard port side incident. It looks like Oman is going into the battle. Oh, Oman, is that they need to... No, Mexico survived that one. So Oman pressured Guatemala to do an extra attack. This is good news for Team Mexico. And I can say to you, Yannick is smiling here in studio and saying, thank you, Oman.
So Oman came to save the day. It's a little bit tough to see my friend Juani to have to do this called ping pong between the boats. He's not being able to sail where he wants because he's being forced by Oman to tack to the other side. And now you see Mexico, they're tacking back because they don't want to lose the fleet. Like I mentioned before, this is a match race. You have to keep close to the boats. One of our strengths is the speed we have, and we need to stay close to the fleet to fight side by side and develop the speed.
It's all about staying close to the fleet, but at the same time keep the speed. Cuba, they're keeping the speed. They have time. You can see them in the distance there. They just tack up towards the top mark. Well, there's a lot of speed of these boats today. They're sailing 7.6 knots and 7.2 knots upwind. Here we see Team Mexico a little bit not lucky, but they just had the timing to make sure Oman came in. Oman tried to attack both boats, but in this case, they actually managed to survive that attack. So Guatemala was caught by Oman. Eric, he's a two-time world champion. So how is it to have a tactician like him?
It's great. I think he's very aware of what he's doing, and especially, like you mentioned before, he also grew up sailing in a lake. So this is the condition for him to do the right calls.
This is the condition for him right now. Cuba, they must be very happy, and see how clean a race Cuba is doing. Yesterday we observed that Cuba, they went to the left-hand side and stayed on the left, then they went to the right-hand side, stayed on the right, and today it's the first time I actually seen Cuba doing 3 tacks upwind. Normally they're not doing so. It looks like Manso Lopez, he's defending his position, trying to cover up the boat, as you will say in sailing, stay in between the mark and your opponent.
Yes, it's actually interesting to see how they went a bit further to the left and they gained some advantage, but then they sailed to the right and protect the fleet from the side, on the windward side. Instead of protecting the left side where they gained this advantage. You can see now that the boats that kept going left, they're now gaining on Cuba. Oman is now in the lead according to the trackers, so this is something they I don't know, they must have talked before.
Yeah, there's a much more wind breeze in the left side. It looks like it's pushing in that way, but I have to say Cuba did a very good thing here by going to the right-hand side, because now they will have to ride away when they come close to Oman and Guatemala once again, so they can actually pressure them and actually make them bear away, go behind them, or force a penalty coming in. It's called the rule number 10. It's starboard port side. It's telling who has to ride away, and if you should explain somebody why do we have to ride away in starboard and port side to somebody that don't know anything about rules, it's something with the wind to do.
Well, I'm not sure why the starboard is favored against port. Who decided this? To be honest, but the rules are important to avoid collisions. This is a sport that can actually get kind of dangerous if there's a collision. Whoa, there's Mexico getting close.
Mexico,
Oman,
right, it's going Oman going behind Mexico. Ooh, is that too early? Oman tacked up. Are they too afraid of losing it, or will they try to do the starboard port side on Guatemala? Because that's quite an interesting call. They were in a favored position, favored wind, but I know, as we said, Cuba and Mexico has to ride away when they're coming closer to the mark.
This was from Oman, and under my perception, this was a strategical move. They're maybe looking something on the right side because they decided to tack and sail behind the boats. Mexico was on the right of way. Mexico decided to keep going instead of protecting the right side, but Oman is certainly looking something out there, and they're gonna come back with the right of way on the starboard, like we were talking.
And we're just seeing Musab Al-Hamdi, the 49er sailing Asian champion, and they're used to sail fast in a 49er, so maybe it's their turn to shine today, because it's fast sailing out there. There's a lot of wind and they're really speeding up. We can see on the graphic, Cuba is defending their position against Mexico, Mexico defending against Guatemala, and then, as you said, Oman, they actually tacked away, going up to the top mark, to the ley lines. That's the dotted yellow line you see there, and trying to get in a favored position because rest of the fleet will come from port side now.
Now Guatemala tacked, and they're coming on port. It's not. It's the Mexico and Cuba have the right of way. Guatemala tacked on the ley line. This is almost they're running out of distance in the course to sail towards the mark. And Mexico and Cuba are approaching closely on right of way. Let's see what they're going to do. I think Mexico is waiting for Cuba to tack, because if Mexico tacks right there, Cuba is going to tack on their wind, and this can be damaging for them. So let's see what Mexico does here. This is a very important tactical position.
It's very important tactical decision, but there's also another thing that's very important here. It is that that when they're coming up there is a mark rounding zone. This mark rounding zone coming in is 3 boat lengths big, and there are some certain rules up there. One of the rules is saying that the boat on the inside turn, if they are overlap, has the right of way. And here right now, Cuba, Mexico, Guatemala is coming from the same position, so they need to defend that position. But Oman is coming with right of way from starboard, so everything can change up there.
According to the tracker, it seems like the left side is paying. It's been paying from the beginning. That's why I think these 3 boats on the left are making the biggest gains. As you can see, Mexico waited for Cuba to tack so they don't get in bad air. So Mexico now has to survive a little bit of dirty air from Cuba. Some turbulence that's created by the sails as it's flowing. It flies back, makes turbulence and disturbs the sails of Mexico. But so they have to sail high mode all the way to the mark and try to keep the boat fast.
And here we have an interesting thing. When we are watching our data we have here, it looks like Cuba, Mexico, they are outside of the ley line, and Cuba had quite a big success doing this yesterday. You can see it here, because then they changed the angle and speeding up the boat, because they changed the angle towards the wind and capture wind much better. There are something called VMG. Optimal VMG is the optimal angle towards the mark, but you can sail a longer distance by changing the angle, and then you will sail faster. So this is actually a good position to be in here, because all of them are in port side.
Yes, Cuba now he has the lead. He has the freedom of sailing high mode or low mode, however they want, depending on their tactics. As you can see, Guatemala, they're going low. They're trying to get free air and also sailing, try to get fast, as you just mentioned, fast and forward to maybe try and come with the favorite tack position, which is starboard. Mexico, they cannot do anything here but stay in the same lane as Cuba, and Cuba is in a very comfortable position right there.
They are in a very comfortable position, and we're just getting a small information that right now it's getting more and more exciting, because Cuba is in the lead, Mexico in second. This couldn't be a better dream scenario for this battle. Oman in third. They still have a chance to be in the finals if they keep this third, and Guatemala in fourth. This changed everything, but we just have another game changer coming in. It looks like Team Cuba, they did a wrong thing before going into the race, so they will get -1 point in this race, like Team Oman got yesterday. So maybe they put in their team registration too late, because they need to keep some deadlines, and that will give them -point. Here we see Team Oman. You can see how they're looking out. The tactician is trying to see what's going on. They're all by themselves, but we can see they're changing the angle towards the mark, sailing a little bit slower, I think, than rest of them, but sailing a shorter distance towards the mark. Interesting call by them.
Yes, I think Oman is trying to close the gap from leeward. Now you can see they are getting ahead of Guatemala, apparently also of Mexico. They're going to come in with right of way. Certainly Mexico and Cuba, they went over the ley line. You can see this in the speed. They're going 1 knot faster than the rest of the fleet. So Oman, by tacking earlier, this can give them actually an advantage. They're going straight to the mark. They just got the shift. You can see in the tracker how the line is getting closer to the mark, and they might actually even get in front of Cuba here. I can.
Yeah. it's quite interesting. Great call by Oman, because right now, just to say, Cuba is sailing 8.5 knots, 1.5 knots faster than Oman. There's only sailing 7 knots. But Oman is sailing a shorter distance towards the mark than Team Cuba, and this is the thing with sailing. It is a mind game. It is a game of chess out there. It's all about deciding where to go with it. So Cuba under pressure, they don't have to ride away at the top mark. Oman can go in and take the overall lead. So this is fantastic news for Team Oman.
Yes, I'm pretty certain that Oman will getting the lead here. They're looking very good. According to the tracker, it's sometimes a bit hard to judge from the studio, but it looks very good for Oman. If they get a knock, which is called a wind shift to make you sail lower, they might take it and tack in a favorite on starboard and come ahead at the top mark.
Rakela, I need to ask you, what's happening out there? Because it looks like Oman is doing something really great right now.
Yes, it looks like it. What I can tell you, Thomas, is that the wind up here at the top mark is stronger. We see the white tips on the waves. So in Italian we call them occhette duckling. So it means it's windy. We see the windsurfers. We see the kite surfers. So this is a very big day. And we're seeing now, very soon, a cross between Cuba, who's been doing a great regatta, and Oman, but they're ahead, I can tell you already. They're rounding now the mark perfectly, but Oman is right behind them. So the underdog, the one that started bad today, so Oman are actually now in second position. And here comes now Team Mexico, rounding right now in front of my own eyes. Another perfect maneuver. And it's very exciting to be out here and watch it, like I said, with my very own eyes. And I mean, today it's rough and it's wild, and I mean, there are sprays. It's amazing, exciting, really.
Fantastic, Rakela. I'm really glad you're seeing these things with your own eyes out there. I can say to you, Yannick, he wants to be on the water and seeing this close up. He's sitting very focused here. But what a turn by Cuba. They just managed to go around that mark in front of Oman. But it was so close they could get a penalty for standing in the way of Oman.
I think this is what we all want to see. Tight racing. Nelido did a great job in the helm right now to get in there without any penalty. I think this was magnificent.
And now we see the spinner goes up, the kite is coming up, and it looks like it's speeding up. Cuba hitting 10.4 knots. You can almost see they're a little bit faster than Oman. They are capturing that angle a little bit better. And then Mexico coming from behind. Guatemala lost momentum, but it's not bad to be the last boat in this case when you're going downwind. Can you explain a little bit why? Because a lot of sailors are saying, hey, being last downwind is not always the worst thing to be.
No, this is sometimes the opposite of the upwind. In the downwind you get the wind first, and so you can react accordingly before the other boats get the wind. And this is an advantage. This is actually this is something that we've been taking also in our favor. Downwind has been one of our strengths. We showed this during practice, and we showed this also yesterday. It's not always about rounding the top mark in first place. It's important to round with the group and then work your way down as fast as possible.
So work your way down fast as possible. And right now it looks like all the teams are sailing like pearls on a string, but they are just waiting to see what the other teams are doing. Here we have Al-Masari. He's the bronze at the Continentals there, and he's just waiting to trim it all, to grind it up, because right now he has a very important task to make sure that the sail is as hard as possible, capturing this wind and really sailing downwind. But see, they're looking, all team members, all tacticians, all helms are looking for the other boats. When will they jibe? And why it's important to be following the other boats? Because Cuba is actually in trouble right now, as I see it.
Well, what's going on right now, they're going to the same side that was favored at the upwind. So the Cuba is protecting this side. I think they're just waiting for the other boats to make a decision whether to go. It's important in the downwind, in these boats, you have to also go zigzagging in angles, so you have to also nail the the ley line, like in the upwind, correctly. You cannot be too low of the ley line. This can be very, very risky, and coming up too high makes you then force you go down slow. As you can see, Guatemala, they're going now pretty fast with 10 knots. They're trying to sail high, and Mexico is trying to sail low. This is the VMG that we are all the time constantly on the boat looking for.
Yeah, and it looks like Guatemala, they're taking a chance. They are gaining speed on the others, but they're also sailing a longer distance. But because they have almost 1 knot of speed faster than the others, they're actually winning on it momentum. But one thing, I'm pretty curious about what Cuba is doing, because yesterday they did something amazing in all downwind lakes. They sailed way out of the ley line, put a better angle towards to the gate mark and the finish line to speed up. And let's see if they will do the same thing, because you can see almost in the pictures here how they are going away from Oman. They're taking a more, I have to say, correct angle.
Yes, it seems that the boat is heeled over a bit more. You can see it. This means they're having a hotter angle. They're sailing closer to the wind. And also this, when this happens is you also sail more distance, but you sail this a bit faster. So you have to find the optimum combination between distance to the mark and speed. That's the VMG.
Yeah, that's the VMG. And if you just tuned in here on the SSL Gold Cup, this is the SSL Gold Cup, the Football World Cup, but just in sailing. It's group number 6. It's Cuba, Oman, Mexico, Guatemala, and it's the golden day. It's race number 1 today, race number 5 in total. And we're going to see 2 races. And right now, Cuba, the underdogs, are really fighting for their positions. Oman coming back in the race. We almost signed them out in the first upwind leg, but a really good tactical decision from them. Put them in second. Mexico, they need to keep Guatemala behind them to stay in top 2. So everything is open for the taking. It's now or never, and we just see Mexico doing a jibe as the first team towards the middle. We also saw Team Mexico doing that yesterday, so interesting if they have the wind in there. But I can say the reason they did it is because Guatemala is also going to the middle. So 2 match races, Oman, Cuba, fighting for the points. Mexico needs to keep Guatemala behind them.
Mexico is certainly protecting Guatemala. They made some distance to the side, and then they decided to tack back to the middle to protect Guatemala and not give them so much leverage. It can be risky to leave one boat sail by himself to one side. Now you can see both Cuba and Oman also jived on the same to the same tack as Guatemala and Mexico, and now it's all about sailing fast and down to the mark as much as possible. By down I mean directly to the mark as much as possible.
Yeah, imagine, like we talked about, this zigzagging in the race course. Now they're jibing downwind. They're trying to find the correct angle towards the gate mark. A gate mark is 2 marks where they need to sail in between them and choose a side to round it. And now we have also seen Cuba and Oman been doing their jibe, but Oman is actually not on the target, where Cuba, they can hit inside the marks if they continue this angle. So Oman needs either to change the angle a little bit or do another jibe. But see Oman speeding up. We can see how they're winning meters on Cuba. Cuba, it's like they lost the wind pressure out there. They're really losing momentum at the moment.
Yes, Oman, they're sitting, well, they're pretty far separated. I don't think they're affecting each other in the wind, but it seems like Oman is catching the wind first and separating a little bit sideways from Cuba. It's important to sail fast and as close or direct to the mark as possible. Cuba is, I think, in a very good position right there compared to Oman. They're going to be able to hold it, and they're also going to be rounding most probably the right-hand side gate first, then Oman.
And that must please the captain, Nasser Al-Masari. He's really looking into it. As he said, oh, it's been a little bit tough, but we are here to fight everything we can. We would do everything we can to show that there's a reason we called the Sea Lions. And we met the ambassador of Oman. They came here to the event to wish all the best to the team, and for them this is quite big. And also for Oman Sailing, that that's really doing something great for the future of sailing. And we just see how innovative and how proactive they are doing in other sailing events. But now we have a battle. Guatemala just did a jibe downwind now in towards the middle. Mexico is in front of them. Will Mexico jibe and follow them, or will they go to the right hand side? This is a decision what's coming in. Cuba is in a good position. Oman needs to do another jibe. So Cuba is almost home safe. They can continue and they can pressure Oman in this case also to force them actually missing the mark or slow down and do a jibe.
Yeah, I was just watching the battle between Mexico and Guatemala. It seems that Mexico jived back to protect his lead with Guatemala. They are maybe letting the other match race, which is Cuba and Oman, battle by themselves and try to stay to secure a third place for now, and then try and move on slowly to the next position. Oman and Cuba, they're certainly in the lead. There's right now two separate battles in the race, in the regatta.
Yeah, if we do the mathematics, and somehow I'm really fast in the mathematics, if Cuba win this one, they will take the overall lead. If Mexico keeps Guatemala in fourth, then Mexico will go in second. But they will be tie on points. But the reason why they will be tie on points is because they will have 14 points each. And this means then the last race will be a match race only between them. But at the same time, they need to do one thing: ensure that Oman is not winning. So for Cuba, this couldn't be better, because then the next race they can sail free. The only thing they don't need to do in the second race of today, race number 6, is to lose it. So this is fantastic for Cuba, but this just makes it more exciting for us in studio and the viewers, because then Oman, Mexico, Guatemala is fighting for that last spot going to Bahrain. Here, beautiful pictures. We can almost see two battles there, but we can also see Oman. They are forced all the way to the right-hand side, going all the way in, and if Cuba, they can continue pressure them.
Oman is driving right now, and they're going to be in the favorite tack. They are coming on starboard, and having a small lead by 3 meters. Cuba is going to have to make a decision. I think, they're going to take the right-hand side mark and also be in the inside of the zone. So they're good right there.
You can see there's a distance in between the boat. We can see Oman is the new leader. It's because they're closest to one of the marks they can round. But Cuba is actually in a very good position to come in with speed for the mark. You see the gate mark coming in, and it looks like Oman is either doing another jibe. They're doing another jibe. 2 jibes. This means they are splitting up. We're going to have a split upwind. Ooh, it's a slow down taking. The spinnaker is getting wet. No, they have issues. Oman is slowing down. This can be costly, and also if they're losing the wind momentum in the right-hand side, Cuba can be back in the race, but it looks like Oman is doing a great job taking the lead at the moment.
There's a split. There's a split between Cuba and Oman, so this is going to be very interesting to see who comes up first in this second beat. And we have on the back the battle between Mexico and Cuba. It seems like Mexico is going. I don't know. I think it seems like they're going to the left. No. Are
they doing a jibe? They're doing another jibe. They're following Cuba, or they're just taking it down?
They're taking down the kite. Oh. They're going to take the left side mark, the same that Oman took. To keep it easy, keep it simple. That's more important than making something very dramatic and then be sorry for it.
And then be sorry for it. But again, when they're taking this spinnaker down a little bit early, they lose a little bit momentum. But these boats, the SSL 47, has quite a special agility. We call it the big dinghy, because it's actually sailing like a dinghy, maneuvering like a dinghy, almost like that. But when you lose your momentum, it takes a long time to speed up. But when you have the speed, it takes a long time to slow down. So this is why they could be able to take down the Spinnaker a little bit early. But we have a battle. Oman is now attacking towards Cuba. Oman, they lost the wind pressure in the right-hand side. They're still in the lead, but it looks like Cuba has the wind with them. All the wind are in the middle, and Mexico, Guatemala are following each other and following Team Oman. Interesting when they will tag in towards the middle. Guatemala is already doing it. So let's say, Raquela, we need to know something. What's happening on water right now?
Well, a lot is going on the water. Like you said, I mean, there are 2 battles within one race. Now Mexico is stacking to cover back Guatemala. So this is the second race of the day. Basically, Mexico went a little bit further out on the right, but now getting back in. I think there is more pressure as yesterday on the left-hand side of the course. Maneuvering with this wind is very important. It's crucial, I would say. So Oman didn't do a great jibe at the, and not a great mark rounding down at the gate, but somehow they managed to keep the lead. So, I mean, really, the maneuvers are really important. And what I observed on the downwind is that Team Cuba, the asset of the crew, was actually very back. So they were staying a lot on the back of the boat to try to lift the bow on the waves and try to plan on the waves. The other teams were more in the center, unbothered, basically. And now I can see that they're all hiking very hard. And it's because the wind is still blowing strong. It's a little less than it was before, and as the forecasts say, it's probably gonna, lighten up throughout the day. But still, it's still breezy, it's still fun, and the game is really open. So, I mean, like I said, maneuvering is important with this wind. So we can still see anything at the top mark or downwind.
Raquela, thank you for that huge eyes on the water report here. And just to say, we have to protect the result right now. Cuba, if they keep their second position, they have 17 points. And if Oman keeps their lead, they have 14 points. That's saying that second, third, and fourth would have 14 points before the last race. And Cuba, 17 points. So Cuba just needs to keep, 2 of the other teams behind them in the next race if this stands. But for Cuba, it will be absolute favorite to win it, because then they're almost qualified for Bahrain. But what a battle! And I can say to you, if you see the face of Yannick here in studio, you can just feel how the tension is here, because this couldn't be closer, couldn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. Cuba followed his strategy, like on the first beat going to the left, there was a favored side on the first beat. Also in the downwind it was favored. But now Oman coming from the right on the starboard tack, the favored tack, they're sailing ahead, and we'll have a cross soon. We'll see what they do. Are they going to tack in their bad air, or are they going to keep going? This is going to be interesting to watch in a couple of seconds.
Will they do like Cuba did in the last race, continue to the left-hand side and make Cuba go behind them to the right-hand side? That was what Oman did. Or will they tack in front of them? Yeah, they will tack in front of them and try to defend it. But isn't it a little bit too late to do that tack? Wasn't it better to be on the outside?
Well, it's important to decide to what side you want to push them. You can do a loose cover and on one tack and tack right in front of them to do the most damage in the other tack. This is some match race thing, and I think they did that to take them precisely to the left side, to push them to one corner. If they are match racing them, they should come back, but it seems like they're trying to go to the right side because this is the one that paid off for them in this second beat.
You can almost see the lines here on the tracking. Oman pushed Cuba to the left-hand side, Oman going to the right-hand side, meaning when they do another tag, they still have the right of way on Cuba. So Cuba needs to find a way out of this one. And now, if I was from Cuba and I knew I got -1 point for something they did this morning before going on the water, they could be having 18 points now and have a 4-point lead to rest of the fleet and almost been insured in Bahrain. But that 1 point minus is opening up the whole shebang once again. So they need to win it. They need to win against Oman. And then Mexico needs to keep Guatemala behind them, and it looks like they continue pressing him that way. but Oman in the lead. Great comeback by the Sea Lions themselves.
Yes, they're all sailing to the left. I think this is the side to be. It's interesting. Guatemala with Mexico, they made a little bit of a gain, and they went. They're going all to the left. There's a little bit of leverage to the side with Mexico and Guatemala, which can be in the advantage of Guatemala if they have a big shift on the left side. And we'll see what happens now.
Yeah, and we just got information from the water that we have a Charlie minus right now. And Charlie minus, that's a new mark coming in. Can you explain to viewers what is a Charlie minus and what's going to happen with the race then?
So this is a signalization they did for a change of a course. Minus means the top mark is probably set closer. It's I can't remember how far it was on the first beat, but now it seems that it's 1.3 miles, which is less than before. This means the wind is dropping. This was also forecasted the wind to drop, and when the wind drops, having a system in the morning makes things very interesting on being able to read what the new wind is going to make.
And this might be good news for Team Cuba in their hunt for catching up Oman, because there will only be one mark up there. That's the Charlie minus. It's going to be a pink buoy where we're coming up to there. And when they're coming up there, they're rounding that mark and not racing to an offset mark. You can see here, going behind Team Oman. It's so close. It says 10 meters in between them. It's more 5 meters. It's side by side. And now Team Cuba is pressuring into the edge, going on, switching side. They're going to the right-hand side to have the right of way when they're coming to that Charlie minus. So is Oman yet again caught in a tactical decision?
Yes, absolutely. Oman, he's tacking back. He's protecting Cuba and tacking leeward of the boats behind. I think that's the right call for Oman.
But Cuba now has the advances when they're tacking in towards this Charlie minus. Oman needs to bear away, go behind them if Oman is not speeding up. Right now we see Oman still speeding up. They are in the lead with 2 meters, but I know they need to be in the lead with minimum 10, maybe 15 meters to not be caught in this starboard port side. So Cuba is coming back, pressuring Oman. This is what we like. This is close match racing. You can also see the two teams behind Mexico, Guatemala, side by side also. If this was a battle in a ring, in a pit, we will see blood come soon, because this is the battle. Cuba taking the lead, and this is also changing the overall score, putting Oman in 4th position, 2 points after the other ones, and putting Cuba in the lead with 5 points.
Yes, Cuba is right now in the position they want to be. They've been doing a great race so far, in my opinion, and they are going to come up with the right with the favor tack on starboard to the mark. This also being a little bit lower of the ley line, the left hand side ley line, having only one mark and no offset mark, gives them some time to also make a great hoist of the spinnaker.
800 meters. It's like a dogfight. It's like racing for it. You can see Oman and Cuba sailing beside each other. Oman losing momentum. You can almost see on the lines that they're using a wrong line, a wrong angle towards the wind, where Cuba is having the favorite side. Mexico, Guatemala doing the same. Here we have it. Cuba 19, Guatemala 14, Mexico 14, Oman 12. It's still open for the taking for everybody, but Cuba, they must be very pleased now and very nervous, because if they do the tack in and forces Oman to bear away going behind them and race towards the finish line, then they can almost say, we are in Bahrain.
This is completely right. This is great for Cuba right now, looking very good. On the other side, the other battle between Mexico and Guatemala in the windward side of the course is also interesting. We are having the same effect as earlier. You can see Cuba and Oman getting closer to the mark in the tracking than them. This means there's a left shift, like it happened also in the first beat, where Oman took this advantage. Now Cuba learned from it apparently, and he's doing the same. And so Cuba is going to be sailing in front of Oman in this third mark. And most probably this will happen as well between Mexico and Guatemala. Mexico being the leeward boat on the second match race battle in the back is also a favorite position against Guatemala because they're going to be able to tack freely in a favorite position and be ready to do a hoist for the spinnaker.
Now we are approaching the top mark. Rakela, I need to know, before we are commentating the top mark rounding, what are you seeing on the waters? Because this is a decisive moment.
Well, what I'm seeing is that the wind is dropping, but still up here it's a little stronger than down at the gate. And I'm seeing Cuba conducting the perfect race. So they're back in the lead. They're about to round the mark. They're preparing to round the mark. And I think this week of training they had before the race actually helped them out, because you can see they know the boat, they know the lake, they know what they're doing. They're very secure in what they're doing. They are very confident, and you can see that in their maneuvers. Even now, I mean, the bowsprit is out. They're about to hoist the kite, and they're doing it. They're doing it as they've been doing it their whole life. But I have to say also, Team Oman is doing a great job. The guys are big and strong, and what you see compared to the other teams is that, of course, there's a weight limit, so everybody must weigh at the maximum
Rakela,
720.
I need to stop. You see the pictures. The boat's coming down when the other boat's coming up. We need to bear away. What is the rule here, Yannick? Because this is a game changer for all the teams.
This is the situation you never want to be, but the Team Mexico and Guatemala managed it pretty well. They have to stay away from the boats coming down on starboard. Team Mexico and Guatemala were coming on port, and luckily they were coming on over the ley line, so they had some maneuvers, some distance to maneuver. Now Mexico is turning around the top mark. Let's see how they make their spinnaker hoist. Hopefully they'll do a great job. I'm certain they will do a great job. I'm positive about this, and they take it out and make it go fast as quickly as possible, and go chase for the boats in the front.
And one thing, there is a Charlie minus. None of the teams got a penalty here, because if they're taking out the bowsprit too early, they will have a penalty. And it looks like all the teams did it right. But see, something's wrong. Guatemala hasn't got the kite up. What's happening? No. The wires are making trouble for Team Guatemala. This is a very crucial moment. Team Mexico sneaking away. Important time. This gives Cuba the lead. They're still battling with Oman, but Mexico is sailing away from Guatemala. Guatemala losing 50 meters.
Now they managed
in this
to
mistake.
put it up. Now it's up. The spinnaker is flying, and they're gonna get the speed they were trying to get before.
Yeah, but you can see how much they lost. They were just side by side with Mexico. One small mistake can cost the whole race when the spinnaker is hoisted.
Absolutely. This is a proof that it's not only about the helmsman or the tactician. It's also about working together as a team. They have to make great maneuvers, and this is everyone has an important position on board to make this happen as smoothly as possible.
As smoothly as possible. They're racing towards the finish line. It's leg number 4. This is when we are going to see the giants come towards the finish line. Who will be in Bahrain? I know we have one more race, but this is opening up everything. Oman, it will try to capture Cuba, because a victory will give them a tie with both Mexico and Guatemala. But a second place will keep them 2 points behind. Cuba will try to defend their position, because winning this race will almost seal them qualifying to Bahrain. Something really bad needs to happen in the next race for not going into it. And the next race is going to be much lighter conditions than how this started today. But again, looking at the tracking, looking at the graphics, Cuba once more surprising us, going all the way to the left-hand side. It looks like they're going all the way to the ley line, keep one distance, and then all the other ones is trying to keep themselves in the middle.
It's very exciting to watch. Getting me also a bit nervous. I'm a bit relieved that Mexico managed to do a great hoist in the spinnaker, and got a little bit separate from Guatemala. Now they have to work as fast as possible to get closer to the boats in the lead. In my opinion, it's hard because they're they're pretty far ahead. But I don't know, anything can happen. They have to do fight all the way until the end.
And projected result, 19 points Cuba, 14 Guatemala, 14 Mexico, 12 points to Oman. Everything is open for race number 6 today, but this is not over yet. Here we see Cuba, they're watching behind them, they're watching, what is Oman doing? Oman is watching in front of them, what is Cuba doing? Because Oman is actually in the favored position right now.
Yes, when they jive simultaneously, Oman could be sitting on their bad air and in the next jive, so Oman, what they're doing is they're taking the boat down when they get breeze, and they're doing a great job getting closer all the time to Cuba. I think if Oman gets the lead, it's going to make the game much interesting, because then anything could happen in the next race. Like we mentioned at the beginning, the last race is going to be the decisive to see who is going to Bahrain.
Who is going to Bahrain? Who is going all the way to the finals? Here we see behind Oman the distance towards Mexico and Guatemala coming from behind them. Beautiful pictures, beautiful shots, but see that focus. They are watching one thing, Cuba. When is Cuba going to jive? Is Cuba going all the way to the ley lines, as we have been seeing all the other days, going further than the ley line and then coming in? Oh, Oman is changing the angle? No?
Very low,
yeah.
Very low. This can be sometimes crucial, because when you go so low, yes, you go you take the speed down, but then you have to gain this speed back, and then makes you do big changes of angle, which creates the rudder drag. And whoa, Guatemala is doing the same tactic they did before, going up high and fast, but now we can see that both boats jived to the middle of the course, and Mexico did as well the same to protect the lead against Guatemala. Now it's all about the two boats in the front and the two boats in the back.
Okay, it's going to be close.
Cuba is in trouble here.
Yeah, double jibe, double loose speed. Oman just pressured them all the way on the outside of the ley line. So Oman, what a attack. They had the right away. Pressured Cuba. Cuba losing all momentum. No. This can change the whole picture.
It's very interesting to watch. Cuba, they got tangled there with the spinnaker. They were forced to do double tack. This is something, like I was mentioning before, you have to keep it all the way to the end. Oman did a great job, very aggressively pushed them to one side, coming in the favor tack, and now they managed to take the lead away from Cuba.
Fantastic move by Oman. They are back in this race. They want to go to Bahrain, but we watch on Cuba. They are not on the course towards the mark. They need to speed up before doing an extra jibe. And now they're jibing, and they can lose the battle to Mexico and also to Guatemala. So what's happening? This is the craziest race we have seen for a long time. But hats off for Oman. Staying put, staying position, having their starboard on Cuba, and just putting the attack while they were jibing.
It's great to see Oman out there in this the most important day, the last day, pull off these moves. Certainly they have a great team on board, great tactical decision to push to take the lead like this. Also, and right now Cuba is a little bit in trouble because they're under the ley line according to the tracker. This makes them for a bit harder to come back, but I think they will be able to sail back to the course also with the spinnaker.
I'm not afraid of Cuba out there. I'm more watching, being afraid of Mexico that's jibing now. Guatemala jibe behind them. It looks like Guatemala is too far away to do anything with Mexico in this case. But can Mexico do anything to Cuba? Because Cuba is below the ley line. They need to sail with a bigger angle, or actually a small angle towards the finish line. But there is a certain rule. If both of them are coming from port side here and coming in towards the finish line, then Cuba actually has the right of way because they're on the inside.
Yes, Mexico has to keep clear of Cuba once they get to the finish line. But right now it's too early to say this. Mexico is 200 meters behind. I think Cuba is in a good position. They're going to be coming in a hot angle compared to Mexico.
You can see Cuba 9.7 knots, Mexico 9.7 knots, and Oman 9.1 knots. So Cuba and Mexico sailing faster than Oman. They're getting the wind pressure. This can still be costly for Oman. The finish line is approaching. Cuba speeding up outside of the ley line. Oman on course for finish line. Mexico on course. But here you can see they're coming in. It's really side by side, but it looks like Oman is going to take it. They are the leaders. The finish line approaching. The Lions of the Sea is coming in. Ooh, it's a close one.
Cuba is just, it's coming in a very hot angle. You could see there the boat was heeling over a lot, and they did top speed right now by 10 knots. Let's see if they can hold on to this angle.
Oman is missing the finish line. Are they going to do another jibe? No. Oman coming in. Are they hitting the committee boat? No. They just managed to keep it inside. What a relief for Team Oman. What a attack on Team Cuba. See the pleasure. They are so happy. Such a good attack there. Great stuff by Team Oman. And then Cuba, Mexico. Who's coming in? Cuba. Oh, watch the speed they're coming in. Second place, but it's still not a bad result for Cuba. It couldn't be better for them, actually.
Consistency is key. That's all about it. Cuba is still in the lead, and now everything is open for the next race.
And then the battle behind, it looks like Guatemala has said, okay, we lost this one. There's one more race. We are tied now, but this tie is really, I have to say it in bad language, shitty situation for Guatemala, because now Oman, Mexico, Guatemala all have 14 points. 14 points, giving Cuba all the time to do whatever they want to do. Just don't lose the race.
That's absolutely right. Cuba has an advantage. They are closer to get the pass to Bahrain, and it's going to be a battle between three boats, which is going to be very interesting. We'll see who gets in front. It won't be about a match race boat to boat. It's going to be about who wins the next race.
Who wins the next race of those three teams? It doesn't matter with Cuba. They just don't need to lose it. But if they need to actually stay, they need to stay in second, I think. We will see the score afterwards, do the mathematics. Guatemala coming in here, doing an extra job, coming into the finish line. They must be a little bit unsatisfied. See there, they're coming in, going opposite, getting ready for the next race. So after doing such a race like one is doing here, where they're so unlucky, or not unlucky, actually, they got outmaneuvered by the other ones, and they got attacked by the other ones. What to think, what to do, how prepare the next race?
I think Juan has been in situations like this before. He can be, I know him well, he can keep a cool head. He's been more than once in the medal race at the Olympic Games, where your head has to be the sharpest. This is nothing new for him. We talked about being nervous before. I think he will be fine. He is going to execute the job he has to do to
come back in this race. And with that said, let's enjoy the replays of this fantastic race. Great. That couldn't be more exciting. Yeah, and now we are getting ready to see if we can have an interview with the winning team. And is our on-water reporter, Rakela, are you ready there? How does it feel to be on the boat of Team Oman now?
Well, they're very concentrated, so not much room for celebration, I have to say. Everything is still open for next race, but what I want to ask, so the helmsman of Team Oman is, the previous race, not a great start, but you didn't lose it. You stayed put and close, and you managed to win the race.
Yeah, I mean that's the game, you know. You don't have to focus on the start line only because the race is very long, you know, comparing the start line. So if you lose in it the start, then that's just not in the world, you know. Just you gotta get up to the game and stay focused. Basically, the game is so close, so yeah, we've got to stay close again.
Yeah, so this is exactly what you did, and now even closer because, I mean, you're even points with the other two teams, and the road to Bahrain is very open. What's the plan for next race?
Well, I mean, we don't have to be too exciting. We just need to do this one more race, and then I think we are going for winning. That's all.
Maybe better start this time?
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, come on. Yeah.
Yeah, so as you can see, like I said, not too much. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Rakela, I want to know one thing. How does it feel to capture Cuba in that decisive moment with the starboard attack downwind? That needs some nerves to do that.
Yes, they want to know about the last jibe downwind. Well, actually, when you pushed Cuba to jibe, that was a very aggressive and very successful move.
Well, I mean, we want to be sorry, but this is the game. You know, at the end of the day, it's who's gonna go to Bahrain. So I'm sorry to Cuba, but I need to do this. You know, and if I haven't done it, then my team will kill me. So yeah, for sure, I have to do that.
Yeah, that's the game, Thomas.
That's
you
the
win,
game.
you lose.
Fantastic. And with that said, let's go to the overall score now out after this race number 5, because something is going to cook in the next race. We just had 8 points for Oman, 5 points for Cuba, 4 points to Mexico, and 2 points to Guatemala. And then you say, why only 5 points to Cuba? It's because they got -1 point because of they actually registered their team too late this morning. So the rule says -1 point to Cuba. So instead of getting 6 points and actually almost being safe into the finals, they only got 5. This is giving an overall score, provincial score, before going into the last race, race number 6 of today, that Cuba, they will still be in the lead with 16 points. Guatemala 14. Mexico 14, Oman 14, and this means one thing for Cuba. If they are not second place, they will not qualify for Bahrain because they got a disciplinary score where they got -1 point. And Mexico, they have 2 victories. Guatemala has 2 victories, and Cuba only have 1 victory. So Cuba can still be out of the finals. So they need to be second or win the next race.
Yes, according to the rules of sailing, the boats when they're scored, when they're tied, then you add up the most wins during the series, and if they have the same amount of wins during the series, then they count the last race.
Yeah, and first and second is the ones going to Bahrain, and maybe we should see what it's all about, because they're really fighting to go into these rounds. We are in the qualifying series. We are in round number 4. There's 1 round left in 2 weeks, but then we go into the finals in Bahrain, where they're going to fight against all the other teams. They're qualified, and then teams that's higher seeded is coming in. But Yannick, how does it feel to come? Will it feel to qualify to Bahrain as a nation?
This is great. This is would be a great feeling. This is the first time Mexico, all the talent in sailing in Mexico is in one team. We have all the nations supporting us in our back, watching the races, and this is our strength. This is something that gives pushes us to do the best during the races and represent our country and our flag during
during this first event of the World Cup of football in sailing is a great honor for all of us.
So it is really the Football World Cup in sailing, SSL Gold Cup, and let's just see what it's all about.
Minus 10, 9, 8. We have a go for main engine start. We have main engine start. 4, 3, 2, 1.
In studio, seeing that video, I have to say, and normally I'm not making fun of my co-host, but this last race was so excited that Yannick, you need to run out because all the goosebumps, all the nervousity, all the adrenaline was kicking around here. Yeah.
Yes, I had to take some air because it was a little too intense to watch my team being there. It's fighting for this qualification. It's hard to commentate at the same time.
It's hard to commentate those you love fighting for the way to Bahrain, but also at the same time, that decisive moment at the top mark. We had two really good situations here today. We had the movement at the top mark where Guatemala, something happened with their wires. So how does it work on a boat with these wires? Because a mistake like that costed them the whole race, but what might have happened out there?
Well, yeah, we talked about this. The situations, the dramatic situation, are going to be in the top mark and at the gate, especially when they change the course. There's only one mark, so it doesn't give you any room to do a maneuver. So you have to be very sharp in this and practice it before talk about how it's going to be. It's all about communicating in the boat and managing the boat correctly. I couldn't quite see what the problem was with Guatemala, but it seemed that they could not hoist the spinnaker. So maybe the spinnaker halyard got tangled with something, and I would have to look it closely to do a better analysis. Yeah.
But one of the things here, you are watching the SSL Gold Cup, and the SSL is a whole brand where they're branding sailing, they're branding the sailors, and one of the way you as a team captain is chosen is the SSL ranking list. The SSL ranking list is like the ATP and like the FIFA ranking list, showcasing in a very fine way all the best results and who's the best performing sailor. So let's see what it's all about. SSL Global Ranking. We all know the ATP and the FIFA World Ranking. It's the way to show who is the best athlete in tennis or the best team in football. With the huge diversity of boat classes in sailing, a variety of roles like helm, grinder, tactician, and other crew members, it's hard to define who is the best performing sailors in the world. The SSL Global Ranking most important mission is to offer the first transversal and global ranking for inshore sailors in compliance to all nations and international class ranking established by the classes and federations. But how does it work? The SSL Global Ranking takes the 6th best score of each athlete in the last 156 weeks into consideration. All athletes who has participated in a minimum of one race will have their performance registered of a minimum 1 ranking point. We are working hard to list every sailor in big or small on our website. The SSL Global Ranking is updated weekly and published every Tuesday at starsailors.com/ranking. Go check it out and remember to claim your account if you find your name is already on the list. Please fill out your information and update with a beautiful picture of yourself. Who knows, maybe you're already in the list. SSL, by sailors, for sailors. Wow, and this is really a great ranking list, actually showcasing for the first time how sailors are performing. So we can actually go in and say, who is the best performing sailor in the world right now on the SSL global ranking? But one thing, when we're talking about performance, we had this battle between Oman and Cuba in the jibe there. And right now, the reason why we are talking a little bit in studio is because Cuba needs to switch boat because their boat handling got damaged a little bit, so they need to change it. So let's go in and see that replay and talk about what happened there. And Yannick, maybe you can help us a little bit. So there we have it. Oh, they're coming in. Oman has the starboard, Yannick, and Cuba needs to do a double jibe.
Yes, it seems that by the look at the team of Cuba, they were claiming for a proper course, trying to get Oman to jibe towards the finish line because they were forcing them to go away from the course. But Oman coming on starboard, they're allowed to do this tactical maneuver and take them. They jived perfectly, and Cuba got a little bit tangled there with their spinnaker.
Yeah, and one of the things you can see, Cuba, they lost momentum totally and need to change the spinnaker from side to side. And in this maneuvering, there came a little bit damage on their boat. And maybe if we can have that replay one more time, because it's actually quite crucial, because we might see a situation like this again, because Cuba have all the races gone to the right-hand side, to the ley line. And this time Oman said, okay, we will follow them. We will pressure them because of the rules. You can see here. There you see they shout, "Hey, we have the right course. We already jibed. Come on, guys!"
Go to the finish line. Proper course. They're probably shouting, and Oman, they just kept going. I'm not sure if the jury be back there in the red.
It is. It's the jury, but Oman has the right of way. See, they're also protesting because Cuba, they need to bear away. Because Oman, no matter what, had the right of way. Cuba changed their course.
There was clearly no. Oman filed for a protest, putting the red flag. The tactician took the red flag out and hailed protest apparently, but it was not granted this penalty because Cuba kept clear, jived away. A little bit emergency jive, which made them have a little bit of a problem with their spinnaker.
A little bit problem with their spinnaker. Something happened because they need to change boat. And one of the great things about the SSL Gold Cup is all boats are the same. So there are 5 boats on water, 4 racing, and a 5th boat that is in reserve. So if anything happens, they just jump on the other boat, and then they have a boat with all the same gear, all the same things, and everything is the same. So everybody's fighting on equal terms, also meaning that it's your skill deciding who's winning. And with all that said, we are in Granson. We are at the Lake Neuchâtel. So let's have a beautiful video of the local castle.
Welcome to the Castle of Granson, a 14th century medieval fortress which overlooks the Lake of Neuchâtel. That's here, some 500 years ago, where Charles the Bold, Duke of Burgundy, lost his first battle against the Swiss Confederate. This event changes the face of European history. Currently, until the year 2026, the castle is under heritage renovation. Still, the castle remains open, and you can come here to visit and discover more about daily life and the history of Switzerland. Throughout the year, the castle organizes a lot of activities like animation, visits, and workshops. If you want to discover daily life in Middle Ages or just discover the region, you can come here in the Castle of Granson. We are really happy and thrilled to welcome SSL Gold Cup athletes in the Castle of Granson, and we wish good luck to all of them. 500 years ago happened here a battle that changed the face of Europe. Now and here, athletes from all over the world are fighting to win an international championship. And if you come to the Castle of Grandson, you will be able to see from the walls all the battle on the lake between these world-class athletes.
And there we go. We are just discussing a lot of things. And one of the things we just talked about while seeing this beautiful video, how does it feel to come to the opening ceremony on a castle?
That's pretty cool. It's I mean, I have not seen this in other sports to have the opening ceremony in a castle. The scenario it's just great.
It's just great. And one thing that's going to be great is the next battle coming up, race number 6. And let's just see the weather forecast, because this morning we had 9.9 knots of wind speed, but it looks like we are dropping in wind 7 knots, and the wind direction also changed, and the temperature has risen. So, and there's no clouds to look at. So Yannick, what does this mean for the way they're going to race out there now?
I hope they do. And I think they will. These boats are very, the mast is very tall. And sometimes, and we saw it on the first day, when the boats tacked to the right side, where it seemed that there was no wind, but maybe there was no wind touching the lake, but there is wind 5 meters above the level of the water. And the mast is much, much higher than that. So even with little wind speed that is being registered from the committee from maybe 2 meters high from the water, there is more wind above it that's going to be capable for running a race.
But one of the things we might also see is, we know a lot about these boats. The SSL 47 is quite special boat. It changes its polar diagrams when the wind speed is changing, and just around 7-8 knots we have the shift of the polar, and that means the way the boat is going to sail with a higher wind speed, they can sail in a shorter angle, so around 35-37 degrees towards the top mark. But with lighter wind, it's 45 degrees.
Yes, the angle opens up more when the wind decreases. You're looking to power up the boat, and to power up the boat you have to sail a little bit lower, which means more open angle to the wind. But still with little wind, these boats are amazing. You can feel the force and momentum that it's being created, and they heel over even with 5 knots, and they sometimes go even faster than the speed that's been registered.
And with that, also, one thing we know for sure is one person that's going to work a lot in the next race is the persons in the bow.
Bowman, I control getting the sails up and down up the front, making sure they come in nice and clean, and the boys get around the mark without trawling.
My position on the boat is bowman. I'm in close communication with the pitman and the tactician to make sure that all the maneuvers are done correctly.
You know, every role on the boat's pretty important, but if you mess this up, you look like a bloody fool. So no one wants to trawl the kite through the water and slow down, but if you do it well, it makes our team look good.
I use my fingers to show how many boat lengths we are away from the start line. And then, like, if we're ready to go racing, I just push them forward.
The most important being bowman is always to think one step ahead. Always prepare all the ropes and make sure everything is attached properly. Avoid any mistakes or that will delay hoisting. If we make a mistake, then of course everything will slow down the boat. Everything is dependent that things go smoothly here on the foredeck. Sometimes we have to clean up after others' mistakes.
Wow, just listening on all these positions and the importance of doing the things. But one of the things we need to build up a little bit is who's actually racing today, because it's all open. So who will win it? So let's compare the teams and see who we have on the captain side and where they're ranked, because it's all open. Cuba, the Pirates of the Caribbean, ranked as a team 17 and waiting. I have a total weight of 750.5 kilos, led by Manso Lopez. And he's a very routine guy, and you have a huge respect for him, Yannick.
Yes.
Yes, and then we have Guatemala, the Guatemalan Jackers. They're ranked 44 in the team race ranking. Team weight of 721 kilos. Juan Ignacio Meckley is in the charge of it, and he has been having 2 terrible days. Even he is up there, but now it's now or never. Yeah, it's really now or never for him, and I know he's a dear friend of you, so he must be under pressure out there. And then we have yourself, Yannick, as captain of Team Mexico, but today you actually choose to switch out there. We'll talk about afterwards. Mexico, Las Catrinas, SSL rank 47. You're the lightest boat, almost the light. You are the lightest boat, 750.2 kilos. And then you're racing against Team Oman, Nasser Al-Masai, that just did a perfect last race here, coming back in it, but they're only ranked 66 on the team race ranking, have a total weight on the team of 726.8 kilos. So if you're looking at these teams and these rankings, does that mean anything when they're going on the water now?
I mean, the rankings are sometimes just a number. It depends how many races they have been sailing through the year. But I think it's not. It's not necessarily the main thing to be focused to see if somebody's the best team or not.
Yeah, and for the best team or not, and right now it looks like that Oman is in the lead. They're really coming back in it. So let's see the overall score right now. We can see here Cuba 16, Guatemala 14, Mexico 14, Oman 14. But we need to look into the rules, because the rules are saying if it's a tie on first, second, or second and third, then the way you decide it is which team has won the most races. And then if 2 teams have won the most races, they're looking at who has the most second places. So actually right now Mexico are actually in second place when we look at this one. Guatemala is in third, because you have 1 second position overall. And then they go that way down. But next race, it's win or lose. It's a first or second place doing. Cuba with 16 points. They need to be second or they're out.
Yes, I think Guatemala has 2 first places. That's why they're now in second, and Mexico has only 1 bullet, so that's why we're in third. That's the tie break.
Yeah, it's 1 bullet. Yeah, it's because it's double points. That's why.
It's
great
can
scene
be
there.
confusing.
Yeah,
but still, like this tie break will be happening in the next race. There will be no tie break. Actually, maybe with Cuba, there could be a tie break. But between Guatemala, Mexico, and Oman, the points will be differently.
So let's just do the mathematics. If it's a tie break with between Cuba and Guatemala, then Guatemala will qualify because they're winning 2 races.
Correct.
If it's a tie between Cuba and Mexico, Cuba will qualify because they have most second places.
Yes, that's right.
So it's really, really a hard one. Where Oman,
but
they really need to perform.
But the last race also counts for the tiebreak. So it depends how they finish. If Mexico gets a first place and Cuba second place, then they will be tied. But Mexico will have a first place, which means for Mexico 2 bullets and would put Mexico in front of Cuba.
They will put Mexico in front of Cuba, and let's have an interview with Team Cuba.
No, not really. We have been training last week. We had a couple of days with a lot of wind, and we are going well with the wind and the strong wind. So doesn't affect us at all. We are okay with the wind or or with a slow wind, doesn't matter for us. We are very focused on the boat, on the crew, teamwork. That's the focus right now. So we are happy and we like the win. We always want to start fast and in the right position for the right course of the race. If we pick one side, we have to try to be on that side as soon as possible, and to keep taking care of the fleet. That's our objective right now. Yeah, we saw some pressure on the left side of the court, and we were looking for that pressure, and we find it, and we were sailing mostly on that side of the court, and it paid well. It paid well. Today we're gonna see, because the wind looks stable today. When this is more stable, you have to be with the fleet all the time, and to have a nice start. This is our focus right now.
Great hearing how Cuba has entered into this SSL Gold Cup Group 6 qualifying series. But let's see their team, because Team Cuba is coming here on screen, and we have quite some respect. Manso Lopez has surprised us quite well there as the captain and also as the helm. But you say he's not doing everything himself. It's a team one. So if you need to find one of these guys, Yannick, and saying this guy might help a lot on this team, you know them quite well. Who will you focus on in the next race?
Well, besides the helmsman, I think also the trimmers play a very good role in this sport. They're the ones who are adjusting the sails to make the boat as fast as possible. In a day like today, where the wind is dropping and the wind is also shifting so much, it's important to adjust the sails in the optimum way.
Yeah, amazing to hear about Team Cuba. And one thing is, for them, this means a lot. They are a mix of very routine sailors, and then they have some young talents coming in there. But next team coming up for us is Team Guatemala. They had a fantastic first day, a terrible second day, and today it starts terrible also for them. So what is Juan going to do with his team? Because it's actually quite a strong team he has here.
Yes, the lineup of Guatemala is very strong. There are a lot of sailing legends on board. They will have to, I guess, talk about what went wrong and try and not make those mistakes again in the next race and come back stronger.
But I'm quite surprised, because Juan and rest of the team are actually used to sail on lakes. So today they got caught a little bit by surprise, or got they outmaneuvered by the other teams?
It's hard to tell. The start wasn't that great for them, so I think their strategy, like it was for many of all the fleet, was to go to the left, and having this start that doesn't give you many options. It's sometimes a little hard to come back, but they did come back. Actually, they certainly have a good team and good people on board working the boat hard to go fast, because they were getting close to the fleet quickly again, despite this last problem they had at the top mark in the second upwind, that they couldn't hoist the spinnaker. But besides this, they're there in the fight all the time.
They were in the fight all the time, and with that said, let's go to Team Mexico. They also have a fantastic lineup, really fighting for it, and this time they got third. And one of the guys that surprised me quite a little was Eric Brockman. He's really active on that boat as the tactician. We really see him tell a lot of information and all that. But who is going to be the most important on the boat when they're coming into a little bit lighter conditions, because they are changing sails from medium sails to light wind sails now?
Like you mentioned before, these boats are like a dinghy, a big dinghy. The positioning of the weight also is a key role in these boats, to try and flatten the boat when it's needed to maximize speed and maximize power. For that, we have the pitman, actually, Juan Luis Medina. He's managing the weight in the boat, telling us to move it to the front, to move it aft, or to do a flattening. This is something that is important when the wind is dropping or getting patchy around the course. Eric Brockman, he's working all the time. His head is working constantly to find the quickest way to the top mark, to find the solutions. He's been doing this since he's 5 years old, I think, or 8 years old, very young age. He knows what he's doing. He's a very strong asset for Team Mexico, very talented and very experienced as a tactician.
Yeah, and then we have the comeback kids, or the comeback team, Team Oman. I have to say, after yesterday, I was thinking, oh, Oman, they only have one chance winning. And they didn't disappoint us. I have to say, the captain, there's also the trimmer here, Al-Masai. He must be very proud of the team, but it was actually the helm. We heard the interview with Al-Hadi out there, where he said, hey, the team will kill me if I didn't do it. So was he unfair pressuring Cuba that way, or is that just part of the game?
No, that's a part of the game. They were in the right of way. They were allowed to do that. Cuba had to keep clear. There was no foul. The jurists also didn't show any foul. I think that was a great aggressive move, and that's what we actually want to see out there from the helm, and that's a very good decision. He would have maybe regret if he didn't do that. Yeah, and then we talked earlier about the young talent, Al-Wahabi, coming in there, and the young talent there, it must be quite a big experience for him to be on a boat like this. Yeah, I guess I'm not sure if he has sailed in boats like this before. I met him the first time right now, but for sure, I sailed here last year, first time in the SSL 47. It was very exciting during the test event last year, and it's still very exciting every day I go on board on this great boat.
And with that said, let's hear from Team Oman about the racing today.
The first 2 days was hard a bit in our boat to fight with other teams, and we focus now in this last day, and we have a big chance to jump to the second place. This is the greatest breeze for us. We love windy weather, and we will do our best. We are nine sailors. Our weight is 740 kg. Yeah.
So you're good.
Yeah, we're good for this wind.
Okay, thank you.
Wow, it's really, I'm so glad to see this format, the SSL Gold Cup format, how all the teams actually can fight back, and now we're going to have a very exciting race. But in the last race, we talked a lot about starboard, port side, how the rules were and everything, and who else to explain us the rules than some of the juries. So here is a beautiful video about rule number 10, starboard, port side.
Hello, my name is Gonzalo Heredia. I'm part of the team of the umpires of this SSL Gold Cup. Just to join with me to show what happened on the water and to understand what they are doing, these great sailors, on this very good event. The rule that apply on this situation is called Rule 10. That means that the port tacker must keep clear of the starboard tacker. These two boats are sailing in converging course. That means that in one point they will cross. We can see that Lithuania decide to veer away just to pass behind the Ecuador boat. That not means that they are losing a position. They are very close, just on a converging course, and the only way to keep clear when you are very close is just to pass behind the other boat, because it's the safest situation. As we mentioned before, you always have two options. One is difficult and the other is easy. And here, Lithuania took the easy way, that is to pass behind. That not means that you are behind the guy, because on the next tack, when Ecuador will come perhaps on port and Lithuania on starboard, perhaps because they are very close, perhaps Lithuania will cross in front.
And it is quite amazing to see Rule 10 explain it so simple here that they need to bear away. And it's all about, according to the wind, deciding what's starboard and what's port side. Because when you're in starboard, you have the wind coming from this side into your sail and it leaves downwind. So the wind is coming from your right-hand side. Where when you're in port side, the wind is coming from your left-hand side. This is the way we can call it here in studio. And of course, when we have seen a lot of sailing, we know that. But rule number 10 is one of the most basic right-of-way rules in sailing, and you experienced quite some of them yesterday also.
Yes, this rule applies when it's one of the most important, the main rules. It's when boats meet, one of them has to keep clear because they cannot go into collision. We had some situations like this, but it's important when you keep clear to keep the speed. This time, if for example, let's say Mexico is coming on port and another boat is coming on starboard, and Mexico decides to sail behind them to avoid them, they have to take into consideration that this is like a mark, but not like a fixed mark. It's a moving mark. So the helm has to time it very accurately to pass as closely as possible from the other boat to not lose any distance from him. And this have to work in accordance with the sails. So all the trimmers, main trimmer and jib trimmer, they all have to work together to make the boat go fast, set the sails properly to sail behind the boat coming on starboard, keeping clear, but as closely as possible.
And when you're here in studio, hear us say oosh or oy or wow, it's because we're seeing them when they're coming up to the top mark. We sometimes see a boat coming port side, another one starboard, and then it's all about, can they manage to go in front of them, or needs they to bear away and going behind them, or are they actually hitting each other or go too close to each other, so there will be a penalty. But we need to learn a little bit more about the positions on the boat. So let's go to the grinders.
So I'm the grinder on the SSL 47, Team New Zealand. So my job is basically to control the primary and main winch during certain manoeuvres or to trim. 3 winches that we can drive. We've got the 2 primaries and then also the main winch at the back. George goes into the main winch, which will be the aft button. He's then able to drive it, and we've got 3 gears. He's able to change direction, which changes gears on the boat. So that's now engaging, and then that disengages the wind. Basically, that's our easiest gear, and then if we were to go button down, George is able to move it much faster. It's important to be powerful and strong, but it's also important to be in the right gear at the right time. So it's like going up a hill on a bike in the wrong gear. You know, it's not gonna be too easy.
Wow, the grinding position, and that's going to be very, very important position in the next race. The wind has actually decreased with almost 4 knots. It's only 6 knots of wind speed out there for the last race. So how important is it that the grinder puts up this sails pretty fast in light wind conditions?
Well, it's actually in both windy and light wind conditions that the grinder has to put the spinnaker as quickly as possible all the way up. The further up you are, the more breeze there is, so you have to get the sails all the way on the top of the mast. Our grinder is for certain the strongest in the team. That's why he's in that position. To keep him also in his best shape, it's important to have lots of water for him, to be hydrated, and also keep the energy with some bars or energy gels. That's also something we have on board for him to push all the time.
And one thing, now we're talking about the grinder, but Yannick, he told us earlier about the pit. And in the pit, he has one special guy telling about placing the weight in there. But what is the pit really doing on a boat?
I'm
I'm the pitman aboard a Norwegian SSL crew. What I do is I work together with the bowman to make sure all the sails come up and down smoothly, and I also trim the runners on the upwinds.
The tactician, the skipper, all those guys tell us where they're going and we've got to make it happen. And without us, that doesn't happen. So you could say we're the most important part of the boat, especially me and the bowman. We make things happen and the tacticians just wish it.
It's a bit of a piano play with all the jammers and halyards and runners and tack lines and stuff. But I think you gotta try to keep a cool head when you get into tight situations. I have the runners, one on each side, and I gotta switch which runner we use during tacks and jibes. All the halyards, the spinnaker halyard, the jib halyard, the main halyard, and also the tack line and the pole outs.
Runners on this boat come out to the pit, so the pit actually has something to do upwind in the boat, which is quite entertaining. Done a bit of pit in my time before, and sometimes we just sit on the side, so it's good to have something to do.
Different positions, different fight, and the pit is actually where the battle is going to be, especially in light wind conditions. But before a really good battle is starting, we need to set the stage, the scene of it. And one of the beautiful scenes we are in is Switzerland. Please enjoy where we are in the world. The stage is set. We are in Switzerland. We are at the Lake Neuchâtel. We're sitting here in the HQ in Grandson. But let's see what it's all about. Race number 6 coming up. The decisive race in this SSL Gold Cup qualifying series. Cuba in the lead, 16 points. Guatemala 14. Mexico 14. Oman 14. So it's all about win or get second or you're out. So Yannick, do you think people are nervous now?
This is very tense.
This is very tense. I can say to you, Yannick is just sitting and smiling like he's on the boat, really tense on it.
Yes, I'm pretty sure Mexico, the Mexico audience, we have an ambassador of Mexico here with us as well, from Switzerland, ambassador of Mexico. And I'm pretty sure they're all waking up early to cheer up for Mexico. It's 7 hours back in the time, but I'm pretty sure they're all up to watch this.
Fantastic. And with this said, it's all about qualifying for this Bahrain.
This is a great opportunity for us to host the SSL Gold Cup in Bahrain. You know, Bahrain is an old seafarer nation. We based on pearl diving, dhows, traveling to India, to Africa, discovery. And now, you know, with this modernization, everything is gone. And now we are back to the sails, technical and racing with a strong wind. inspiration. It will be, I think, great. Well, yes, we'll have a team. To be on board, I'm really, I would like to, but for being a sailor for more than 40 years now, I'd like to advise only.
And what a beautiful place to come. I'm really excited to see which team in the final. And Rakela, you're on water. There's almost 5 minutes to the start. How it's looking out there? The wind is disappearing and the teams are nervous. Tell us something.
Yeah, you can breathe adrenaline with the air dying. It's mixed up with it. I mean, yes, we've seen teams trying in this time they had while Team Cuba was switching boat. We've even seen somebody going down with a kite. I think it was Team Oman. So they're really into the game. They didn't take this break lightly. They took the opportunity to train and see how it goes. What I can say is that, like you said, the wind is a lot lighter. We're about 6 knots, I think, down here. But I think up at the top mark, there are still maybe 1 or 2 knots more wind, because I can still see the white tips on the waves. And up there are many sailing boats and windsurf and kite surf still flying around. So I think we might have some more pressure up on the top mark. And I mean, with the situation of 3 boats tie and just, Cuba ahead a little bit, we're going to see a very exciting start. I think the start is going to be focus for all these 4 teams.
And with that said, Rakela, thank you, and we're looking forward to hear more from you on water. And while we're seeing these beautiful pictures, if you're new to this final and just pop in to cheer on your nation, maybe we should explain you how they're going to race the race course. They're going to do an LA2, it's called, and they're going to race upwind to a top mark, round an offset mark, downwind to a gate mark, and then again up to top mark, downwind, round an offset mark, and downwind to the finish line. And it's the upwind that's maybe going to be the most exciting here in lighter wind conditions. Or what do you think, Yannick?
Like the previous race, the most exciting part is mostly the start. This is a key point in racing, in sailing, and the upwind is also very important. We saw it. Cuba took the lead in the first race, and they managed to keep it all the way until the end. So the first upwind is important. Now the wind dropped down a little bit. This means there are going to be opportunities probably all around the course, and they will have to be looking out for them and take them.
But one thing, Yannick, now you said the start is the most important. Now I'm a little bit harsh to these teams. All the starts we have been seeing here today and yesterday was very conservative. Are we going to see more aggressive now, or are they not taking any chances?
I hope so. I want to see this. This is the exciting part of this game, and we want to see aggressive starts. It's the last race, and it's all or nothing.
It's all or nothing. You need to win or get second, no matter which team you are, to qualify to the finals in Bahrain. Team Guatemala, they are so focused here. The Meglin family are already here. He's there. It's Johan and his sister Maria sitting there and just focusing. Team Oman surprised us quite well last time. El Hadi in the picture, really ready to fight us lions off the sea. And then, of course, Team Cuba, the underdogs in my world. If they continue doing what they've been doing the 2 last days, they might go to the finals. And then, of course, Las Catrinas, is it time to have the spirit with you?
Yes.
Yes.
There's, I think it's the right moment to have it.
It's the right moment to have the spirit in the battle, yeah.
We can see Team Oman, same points as Mexico and Guatemala, left alone on one side. Maybe they have a different strategy for the start. On the other side, Mexico and Guatemala, they're fighting to position themselves. I think they're thinking alike where to put themselves in the best position in the starting line.
Yeah. And now, almost 1 minute left. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the SSL Gold Cup qualifying series. It's race number 6. This is this race where we're going to decide who will follow us all the way to Bahrain. Will it be Team Oman? Will it be Team Mexico? Or will it be Guatemala or Team Cuba? They are fighting it out. We have a committee boat close to us, a pin and mark on the opposite side. It's all about that position. 30 seconds to the start. They're coming in with speed. Right now, Guatemala is placed good according to Mexico, but Cuba in the lead. The bow is communicating. Let's see. It's all about the fingers. They're looking into. Oh, they're too close to the start.
They're too early to the start.
They need to cut to the opposite side. Guatemala can cut off Cuba. There can be a penalty there. No. Cuba survived this one.
Oh, and Oman is also out.
Oh, Mexico is caught there. Oman is also going in to cross in. Cuba at the pin and mark. 3 seconds. Will there be a recall? There's the start, and it's a clean start, well timed. But Mexico, yet again a conservative start, needs to tack to the opposite side, caught in wind shadow. Come on, I can say to you, Yannick is shouting here in studio right now.
Yeah.
So what a crazy start.
This is, I thought for a moment that Cuba would be outside of the start. Mexico and Guatemala tried to push them out, but they managed to get away with it with an excellent start from the leeward. Oman on the other side, like I mentioned, they were left alone on the right side of the start, and they managed to start perfectly in front of everyone in covering the wind.
And now we see right now Oman in the lead, Cuba in second, Guatemala in third. They're following each other. Mexico 100 meters behind, but don't worry, it's not over for Team Mexico. This just makes it even more exciting. They're going to the right-hand side, and that's actually been the favorite side most of the day. So exciting if they will follow the rest of the fleet or do their own race. A little bit like Antique Barbuda. They actually did that way and won and qualified to the finals in the last race of the Golden Day. But here, Nasser Al-Mazhari, he's the leader right now together with his team. Now Mexico is tacking in, and hopefully they're capturing some wind. Yeah, you can see they're speeding up already. So they will come in. They are on starboard. Rule 10 is in their favorite side, while the 3 other boats are battling out. So Yannick, what to do now if you were in that boat?
It's hard to tell. I think they did for sure the right decision to tack out and find for clear air. Now they're trying to go to the side where the other boats are. They're trying to stay close to them. And now it's time for them to start making speed and get closer as much as they can.
Start making speed. We have some data. Guatemala is the fastest boat at the moment. Mexico is speeding up second fastest, and we're not telling the speed yet. Cuba and Oman are slowing down, and it's like Cuba and Oman is battling it out. No, Cuba is on the outside. Guatemala are caught in a sandwich between Cuba and Oman, but Cuba is in trouble over there. They cannot tack because the 2 other teams are covering them. So they will be pushed all the way to the ley line or until one of the other teams are doing something.
Yes, I think the advantage here is of Mexico is that they can sail free. And the other 3 boats are going to be battling each other. Anyone can win this race right now. Mexico, if they get a right-hand shift, they will be making some distance on them. But so far, it's looking a little bit bad for Mexico, which hopefully can get better. The race isn't over; it's just a start, and
yeah, let's don't talk Mexico down. I've seen boats being 400 meters behind and still get second. So don't worry, it's the first upwind leg. There's a lot of racing to do yet. It's around 1.3 miles they're going to sail. So they still have quite some distance up to that top mark. Cuba is now the leader, but they are in trouble. But somehow they managed to go in front of Guatemala. They're sailing behind Cuba. So and then Oman, they are losing a little bit momentum on the outside, but they have to ride away. So Cuba can still not tack in to find wind in the middle. They are forced all the way up to the ley line, but you can see here Cuba speeding up, Guatemala caught by Oman. So this is actually still good news for Cuba.
Yes, they're certainly going to the same side. They've been going to almost on every race of this series. The left side seems that there is more breeze. Cuba is now in the front. They will come back probably on the port tack, which is not the favorite tack, and they will have to avoid the collision right now with Oman, and we'll see when this happens later on the race.
Let's see. Right now, Cuba is winning momentum, 40 meters. It's a little bit mixed there. There we have Nelido Manso Lopez, Pan American Games champion. He's a legend in Cuba, you said, and now he might write history, qualifying Cuba to the first finals in Bahrain, in the SSL Gold Cup, the Football World Cup, but in sailing. That must be such a great news for him. He is the underdog, but while we are seeing him here at Team Cuba, we are seeing on the tracking that Mexico is doing a daring move, going all the way to the right-hand side, trying to get this rule tin on their favorite and get some wind into the sails, and then going up to the top mark. Guatemala attacks also. So now it's Cuba on the loose. Oman and Guatemala is going to battle. So might this be good news for Mexico?
We'll see. Mexico made a lot of distance sideways. What it seems is that the tacking on sailing on port is a little bit tough today. So maybe now Mexico, when they tack back, they might recover this distance they lost according to the tracker. Mexico keeps on sailing to one side. We'll see if this pays off for them. Hopefully this pays off for them. And then we'll see how Oman and Cuba attack back on port. It's going to be a battle between those two boats.
I think when I'm seeing what the boats are doing now, Guatemala also tacked in towards the middle. I think Guatemala wants to follow Mexico and keep them behind them and hope for getting that second position, because Oman is 2 points behind Guatemala and Mexico. So right now it's Cuba and Guatemala qualified to Bahrain.
This reminds me a little bit to the first day of sailing where Guatemala went to the right, and then it seemed on the tracker like right now Mexico sailing in a better angle than Guatemala, making a little bit of distance on them. I just hope that this is the same situation like it happened the first day where Guatemala came from the right alone. We'll see in a couple of minutes.
We will see in a couple of minutes. Don't worry, ladies and gentlemen. And also all you exciting people sitting at home in Mexico cheering on your team. It's not over yet. Now we see Cuba tacking towards the top mark, port side. Oman will come now on the left side. Let's see if they have tacked also. No, they have not tacked. Now rule 10 in the motion. Oman versus Cuba. It's the second time those two are battling out. Will Cuba go in front, or will there be a penalty?
Oh,
no,
wow.
Cuba needs to bear away. Oman does it one more time. Pressures Cuba out, and this is good news for Guatemala because they're coming in starboard into this battle also. But Mexico, they must be pleased because these teams are really battling it out now.
The more maneuvers you make, the more you slow down the boat. If Mexico keeps on sailing simple as possible, they are going to make distance on them. So hopefully they keep battling each other there on the left side, leaving Mexico do their own thing and get closer to the fleet.
And here we see Cuba, they're still the leaders, but they are under pressure because the lead is only 20 meters. It's not enough to go away from the attack from Oman. Oman can do another attack, but on the left side of Oman in this picture, we see Guatemala coming in with speed. Cuba has some distance to Oman now, so they can actually win it a little bit more, and looks like they're also capturing a little bit more wind speed. Guatemala coming in. It looks like Guatemala is going below Oman and Cuba, so they are still too far behind. But Mexico gaining speed, winning momentum. They just gained around 50 meters on rest of the fleet, so it looks like the win is in the favorite side of Mexico. Mexico sailing 7.6, rest of the fleet 7.0. Cuba 8.2, so Cuba and Mexico is finding the wind speed, where the two other teams are in lighter wind conditions at the moment. So Rekela, I need to know one thing. Is we having a minefield out there, or is the wind just shifty in the sides? Oh, we didn't get into Rakela, but that doesn't matter. Let's just stay here on the focus. Guatemala, they're hiking. Oh, there we have
They
you.
didn't hear me.
Yeah, Rakela, I need to know one thing.
Oh, you have me. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
do we have a minefield out there, or is the wind just shifty on the sides? What's happening out there with the wind?
Yeah, it's not really a minefield. I don't see spots of no wind here and there. I think it's just more windy on the side of the lakes. I think the middle is a little less windy at the moment. So, I mean, it's difficult. I wouldn't want to be one of these tacticians at the moment. It's very hard. We are approaching the, well, we're almost at the top mark. So, I mean, we're going to see if being on the far right helped out Mexico to recover from the start. I think it might, looking at them with Team Guatemala, it might have. And yet we're very close to Team Oman right now on the race course, and they're all hiking hard. I mean, they're doing everything they can. They had a pretty good first upwind. And well, you can see the Captain Nasser is the trimmer. And boy, that jib is trimmed perfectly. So, I mean, they're doing a great job. Great job.
Fantastic, Rakela. Great eyes on the water, but one thing is for sure, we are doing the mathematics here in the studio, and Cuba, they just need to stay in the lead to qualify to Bahrain or get second. But Oman, a second position is not good enough. So actually, the battle here is Guatemala and Mexico, because if Oman is not winning, then and Guatemala and Mexico gets third, then Oman will not qualify. So they need to take the battle to Cuba, or else they will not qualify. And this is the great news for Mexico and Guatemala, because now they have a huge chance to battle that third position and come back in the race.
Yes. I just hope Mexico can get back from this bad start. This is just the first leg from 4, and it's not over. I think there's still a lot that can happen.
Yeah. And we can see what happened. Oman losing almost 100 meters on Cuba. So Oman, yeah, it's looking good on the boat according to the Rakela, but according to the wind and the speed, they're losing momentum. Cuba rounding the mark. They must be very satisfied. Who's coming there behind? It's Oman coming behind them. Guatemala also coming in. And then Mexico, they need to do a double tack to round the mark. So now it's now or never. But we saw in last race, this launch of the kite, the spinnaker, has so much to say. Will Guatemala or Oman be ready for this one? In the lead, Cuba. Oman second. Guatemala third. And Mexico at the moment fourth. So if you were on the boat right now, Yannick, what to think? I know you're looking for the wind and everything, but it's the downwind where you need to have the strategy now.
It's the opportunity to make the gains. It's going to be at the downwind. Mexico, my team, I'm confident about the maneuvers. So hopefully they set them properly and they squeeze every meter they have to make distance towards the other boats.
We have the kite that's launching. The spinnaker is up from Team Cuba. Team Oman getting the spinnaker up. Then Guatemala coming in. We are still waiting for Mexico to round this mark. And it looks like Mexico is taking a bigger angle towards the mark to speed up right now and get some speed into the boat. And it's working for them. But it's still Cuba in the lead. And right now, the underdogs of Cuba is riding history if they keep this position, but it's only the second leg. Nothing is over yet. There we have it. We're still waiting for Mexico, so something needs to happen. They're coming in there. That start meant a lot, but it's not over yet. Cuba, Oman, Guatemala fighting for it. Mexico doing attack towards the mark and getting ready to launch the kite. So, right now we have the same situation with Cuba and Oman up there. Oman, they are around 50 meters behind Cuba, but this time Cuba keeps them on the inside of them and not on the outside. Have they learned the lesson from last race, where Oman was on the inside and could penalize them or pressure them?
Yes, it looks like it. It looks like they're protecting the inside, sailing lower than Oman. and this is something probably they must have learned from the previous race.
Something from the previous race. Mexico rounding that mark, coming in. They need to do something, and it looks like that the left-hand side of the racetrack has been with most favorable wind, and the right-hand side has been with less favorable wind. And according to Rekela, closest to shore is the most wind at the moment. So, will your team take a chance and go towards the middle, or will they try to follow the others?
This is a difficult call, to be honest. They're going to try and do. Try to make some sideways distance on them, because if the wind shifts, then they might take this in their advantage. But this call has to be very precise from the tactician to do so, because it can also be in the disadvantage and have more meters.
It can be disadvantages and have more meters. Cuba has 24 points at the moment. Oman 20 points. Guatemala 18. Mexico 16. So Mexico and Guatemala needs to fight it against Oman. They need to do something. So they need to force a jibe battle, because in all the other groups we are seeing the biggest issue, the biggest mistake that can cost the most for a team is every time they jibe, every time they work with the kite. So it's all about stay clear now and be out of the battles.
Yes, looks like they're all in the same jibe right now. Mexico jibed immediately after rounding the offset mark. Looks also like Guatemala jibed before the other two boats, putting maybe trying to attack Oman. This is Guatemala's goal, is to attack the boat that is lured and that is in the lead, and this is something that it seems like they're doing, but according to the tracker they're 100 meters behind, so maybe they're not being affected that much by Guatemala.
We see right now Oman close to Cuba. Same situation as last time, but this time Cuba can pressure Oman because they are on the same port tack right now. But one thing we are looking at, because we have access to data, Guatemala is the fastest boat on water right now, 8.6. They're coming with speed. They are sailing with a different angle according to Oman and Cuba. And you can almost see also here that they're speeding up, and they can actually do a jibe where they have to right away. Cuba is the only team that looks like they can sail straight into the gate mark and pressure Oman out. But Oman and Guatemala needs to do an extra jibe. These jibes is giving Mexico a chance to come back. I know it looks like Mexico is far, far behind, but when we're looking at the speed difference, Mexico is now the fastest boat. They're changing the angle to make a little bit bigger, so they're coming in. Cuba, Oman, Guatemala, Mexico. Who will join us in the final in Bahrain? Will it be Cuba, Oman, Guatemala, or will Mexico do the comeback as we saw Oman did in the last race? It looks hard, but like this, Oman was in the same position in the last race we just had. But Cuba, it looks like this time they're not under the same pressure, Yannick. Oman is on the inside of them, so they can just continue pressure Oman outside of the ley line.
Well, Guatemala keeps having constant speed compared to the other boats, but now it looks like they're all going in similar speed. I think they might be in the same breeze right now, which makes the race consistent. The meters are not moving that much, so none of them is gaining or losing some distance apparently. But like said before, the wind is just dropping. This makes the wind change, and everything is open for possibilities. There you can see Guatemala jive back to maybe do something different than the rest of the fleet. Maybe they saw some wind over there. They're trying to attack to get closer to Team Oman.
Yeah, and here we can see this beautiful drone shot that Oman is taking another angle than Cuba. They are afraid of getting too close to Cuba, because then Cuba can actually follow them outside of the ley line, pressure them away. So they are just making room, trying to stay out of the battle. So Oman and Cuba, they don't want to fight. Both of them are very satisfied right now. They're qualified to Bahrain, but Guatemala is now coming on the inside, going to the ley line, coming for the inside. Both Cuba and Oman needs to do an extra jibe. And then Mexico, it looks like they're catching the same wind as the others, so it looks a little bit hard. So it's the upwind leg deciding what's going to happen in this case. But Guatemala taking a huge chance.
Well, it's interesting to see Oman to not sail with Guatemala to that side to protect. Now they're qualified. If it stays like this, the points they're qualified for Bahrain. So if I was the tactician of Oman, I would be sailing close to Guatemala and not let them get any leverage on me, just to protect and secure the spot. A second place is a good position for Oman, and this will make them go to Bahrain.
To protect and secure your spot. And right now I'm just getting intels from the water. The wind disappeared 4.5 knots. And what will happen if the wind disappears completely? Then we can be in a whole other situation that the race might be cancelled. So right now, Rakela, I need to ask, what is happening with the wind? It looks like it's just disappearing.
Yes, but Thomas, not totally disappearing. So you said there are 4.6 knots, 4.5, sorry, but whatever. Yes, down here at the gate, there is little wind, but we've seen racing on this lake with this little wind, you can still finish the race. Plus, if I look at the top mark, I can see a darker shades of green on the lake. So I think up there we're going to find a little more wind like we did before. It's really nerve-wracking to watch the race today because, Oman and Cuba are really close to each other and they're, protecting their positions. But I can feel the pain on Team Guatemala and especially on Team Mexico. So it's really, it's really painful to watch the race. This last race from the water. And if the wind actually keeps on dying, this is kind of a good news for the boats in the back because they can still get the last, or actually it's the opposite because the wind finishes before from where it comes. So it's going to finish before on the north rather than the south.
Rakela, we need to stop you now because something very interesting is happening on the water. We're going to see a split yet again. Cuba and Oman splitting up at the gate once a time. Cuba going to the left-hand side. Oman taking the biggest chance, the biggest risk, according to me, going to the right-hand side. We just seen proof there's been no wind at that point. Here we see Team Cuba rounding the mark, so slow, no speed at all. It's going to take a long time to round the mark. If they hit the mark, they will get a penalty, but they are clean of it. But see how slow it's going there. So
it's crucial, these situations with so little wind. It's makes the nerves go up high. Now they're having some trouble putting back the spinnaker, but now they have it back in the boat. But they're still sailing a little bit with the spinnaker out. But now they are going. This split attack is going to be interesting because also Guatemala went on the other side compared to Oman. Like I said before, Oman didn't protect Guatemala, and this is a little dangerous for Oman.
But I have to say it's very dangerous what Oman is doing now because Guatemala, now we can see Mexico coming down here to going to the same side, but it looks like Oman is losing all momentum. They are sailing slower than Cuba, they're sailing slower than Guatemala. So is this the wrong decision? We saw also in last race, and then they tacked in straight away. Now the tack comes in. Now they see, hey, there's no wind here. So we need to do something. The other ones are sneaking away from us. And this is Guatemala's chance to come back into this race.
Yes, I think this is exactly where Guatemala wants to be compared to Oman. They're on the side that was favored in the first beat. They have a sideways leverage on Oman, which can transform into distance with a little wind shift. Mexico will probably also take the same gate. Now they're almost getting close to to the gate. I'm not sure, but I think they're going to take the left gate, going to the left side of the course. And Oman will now have to be very quick to be sailing in front of Guatemala, because a small shift and some breeze now having this little wind can be a race of a matter of where there's more wind, and maybe if on the left side you can see more wind, this can be a clear cross for Guatemala ahead of Oman.
Yeah, and now we come to a very interesting point also, because Guatemala, Cuba went to the left-hand side. And it looks like on our information that Mexico has followed Oman, and there could be two reasons for it, because now it's all about VMG. It's all about how a racetrack is built. If we zoom out a little bit here on this graphic, we can see up in the top there will be a mark, and the wind direction is choosing which side is the shortest route to take towards the mark. The left-hand side is right now, according to my data, the longest route towards the mark, where the right-hand side is the shortest distance. But it's like a square, so it's the same distance, but if you can get to the best VMG angle towards the mark fastest as possible and doing less tacks, then you have a chance to win it. So Mexico taking one of those coin toss, really taking a big chance going towards the right-hand side and hoping for what we just tried to explain here.
Yes, you can see, okay, before you could see that Oman was sailing in a better angle, closer angle to the wind, to the mark. This could be also positive for Mexico going to the right, but they're a bit too far behind, too many meters from second place from the pass to the Gold Cup. But with Guatemala would be interesting to see, because Mexico also took the right gate like Oman did, and we're going to see if they're going to make some distance on the boat that went to the left.
Here we see Team Cuba sneaking away from Team Guatemala. Guatemala going to the left-hand side. They're losing momentum right now. Cuba going towards the middle to fight Team Oman, or to cover up Team Oman. And then Mexico going a little bit further to the right-hand side, and now they're going to do attack in towards the middle. So now, here we have Guatemala taking a chance, going all the way to the left, doing what Cuba has been doing all day. Here we see Cuba attack in front of Team Oman. It's payback time! Oman is getting covered by Cuba, but see how close they are to each other. This is not 45 meters.
This is very close, actually. If you would be there in the water, that's exactly what we're watching right now. Oman is tacking back because they would eventually get covered by the wind turbulence affecting their sails to go at their maximum.
Yeah, but Cuba has one big issue again. Rule number 10, starboard port side when they're approaching the top mark, because Oman is on the right-hand side on them. So either they need to be faster than Oman and be able to continue doing what they just did here, or else they will get caught by Oman and losing momentum and have to bear away.
Yes, that's right. We've seen this all day long today. This in the graphic you see you can in the tracker. It's not in the screen. You can see the split between Cuba and Oman, and we're going to see how they come back after they tack again. Now Oman tacked back, and we'll see if Cuba tacks back, and we're going to see the next cross who is going to be sailing across, but Oman is only a couple meters behind, and they're on starboard, so we'll see what happens in a couple minutes.
It looks like they're far away from each other. Guatemala close to the shore, Cuba in the middle, Oman on the right-hand side. Then Mexico does another tack towards the right-hand side, trying to find some wind out there. They really need to find it out there. And also, I have to say, because you're from Mexico, have the spirits, throw the wind, and that's their side, because when we have these windy conditions, or low wind conditions as we have here, then suddenly the wind can just disappear in one area. And it looks like Guatemala, Cuba and Oman is on the way closer to the shore, where we have got told all day that's where the wind is. Rakela, I need to know something. Has the wind shifted? Is something happening out on the water, or is it continue doing the same thing?
I I'm looking to find an answer to you. I've been looking since the last mark rounding. It's really difficult. I think if you stay close to shore, the water is a little darker. So this is what Mexico is doing right now. It's going closer and closer to the east coast. But I think that it's a little further from the race course, the west coast. So, the east coast. So in the end, on the left where everybody else is probably the better option because there is pressure and it's closer to the race course. So I think what Mexico is trying to do is taking a chance and see if the wind is going to shift, and it can happen because when the north wind slowly dies, then it might shift here and there. But so far it's always been on the left, so let's see.
Let's see what happens. Thank you, Raquela, for this fantastic observation. Here we have Team Mexico, and you can see there's actually quite some wind where they are, and they're still scouting out to find some more, and they continue going to the right-hand side. And right now, they are the fastest boat on the water, so that's fantastic. But back to the battle, Cuba, Oman, Guatemala. Guatemala just tacked up. Cuba tacked in front of them. Oman coming in starboard. But are they close enough to Cuba to pressure them again, or will Cuba has it?
We'll find out in a couple. Oh, there you have it. Cuba. Whoa, and also Guatemala is looking not so bad coming on port.
It looks like Oman is starting losing it. It's going to be very close. It's Oman, Guatemala we are looking at right now. This is good news for Cuba because they can sail away. Let the two other battles. We will go to Bahrain if this continues. But just look behind them. There we have Oman. There we have Guatemala. Oman needs to cover up Guatemala and pick a new fight.
Yes, definitely. The Cuban team, they are now in a comfortable position. They're coming going in the front towards the close to the left side lane line, going towards the right side to the top mark. They're going to be now tacking on the right lane line. They have no problem coming on starboard after they tack, taking the lead. They're sitting very comfortable compared to the other teams. Now it's going to be between Oman and Guatemala. As you can see, Oman, they tacked in the dirty area of Guatemala, which is...
and they're actually just side by side. I know the meters is saying 50 meters, but if we go into the boat of Oman and watch the crew there from inside there, then we might see Guatemala just up behind them. You can see they're very close to each other, and actually Oman there on the inside, Guatemala on the outside. That will give them the advantage at the top mark if they arrive at the same time. But according to measurement, Guatemala is 0.6 knots faster than Oman at the moment. Here we have Musab Al-Hadi, one of the Asian champions, is the 49er sailor together with one of the other guys on the team. And you can see Cuba sailing in another angle than Oman and Guatemala. Guatemala, a bigger angle and are sailing faster. So this is going to be very close for second and third. But is Mexico finding wind? Right now it doesn't look like it. So it might be Guatemala and Oman fighting for the last spot for Bahrain, the finals of the SSL Gold Cup. It looks very good for Team Cuba. Let's see, they're coming in here. Manso Lopez looks cool. He is cool. He is a legend. He is from Cuba and he's well respected. But it's first time he's sailing the SSL Gold Cup on these big boats. He must be very pleased coming as an underdog, but it's not over yet.
Yes, like Raquel was mentioning on the water, the marks, the top mark is closer to the west side shore, which creates a wind effect, shifting the wind a little bit to the left, and you can see the boats, the three boats coming from the left, they made even more distance on Mexico. This is, but it's also very difficult to, with such a little wind, to watch this from.
And now we have the battle. Cuba coming in. They have to ride away. See Oman coming in with speed. They're more faster, but they need to bear away. They need to take care they're not coming at the same time, because then they can't round it. This might be good news for Guatemala, but let's see. Let's keep the camera there if we can, because this is Cuba. This is Oman. This is Guatemala. Oman coming up. Cuba around it. Oman coming around the top mark, going for the offset mark. Very close rounding. And then Guatemala coming in here. Oh, they are far behind, taking a bigger angle than Oman. But that is that's maybe a little bit decisive. They took a bigger angle towards the mark. See there, you can see it. They were side by side, and there we have Mexico behind. It looks a little bit, I have to say, hopeless for Mexico right now, because it's the last leg coming in. But we saw in the battle between Bermuda, in the battle where Bermuda and Tiga also was, there we saw the wind suddenly just disappeared in these conditions in the last downwind leg, and then the last team suddenly came up and took third and qualified. So everything can still happen. The kite is off. Oman, they had trouble taking it down, but it looks like it's up. It's not capturing the wind so fast as Cuba, but we have the same situation. Cuba needs to stay on the inside of Oman, or else they will get caught the same way. Guatemala coming in. What will they do? See, working and working for it. So now, if you need to set you in one's head, he needs to win this one over Oman, or else he's not qualified. What will you do now?
It's try to cover their wind, stay with them, cover the wind, try to read the wind before them. They're coming from the back, which means they're going to get the wind first, coming downwind. And they will have to be very proactive in this situation. Guatemala will have to attack to get close to them. They're 100 meters behind. It's quite a distance, but it's not over for them. Anything can happen at this point. I think Guatemala can still be in front of Oman.
Guatemala can still be in front of Oman with those wise words. It's not over yet, but who's actually happy right now? Who can almost sail for the victory? Who can smell Bahrain? That's Cuba, and it looks like there has the distance, not getting the same penalty as last time as Oman, but here we can see on the drone, they are still in trouble. Oman can do the same trick and go for the victory, push Cuba out to do a double jibe, and if that happens, Guatemala is in for the taking. So what will Cuba do? If I was them, I will actually start changing the course and having Oman on my right-hand side and not the left.
Yeah, yes. You have to be looking for that VMG we've been talking before. You have to be looking out there for the wind, what the wind is doing. What the Cuba is, maybe their VMG is maybe sailing a little bit higher, but now you see Team Oman, they're taking the jive simultaneously with Cuba, which makes it very interesting because they could be covering their wind right there, but maybe not necessarily right now, but maybe later they can, if they manage to sail fast, they can be covering the wind of Cuba and sail ahead of them. But Cuba being in the leeward side right now, they are in a favored position. They are in right of way. So Oman right there, they just have to sail fast and keep away from Cuba.
But one thing we saw at the same time, Team Guatemala has been doing the same thing. You can see Al-Hassani, he's just looking behind him. That's where Team Guatemala is, and they're sailing with a bigger angle than the rest of them. They are approaching, they are attacking Team Oman. Oman is actually caught in a small sandwich now. This can actually be a losing moment for them because Cuba has to ride away. Guatemala coming in with wind shadow. So they're trying to attack Cuba. I might have been doing it different and saying, hey, we're in second, Cuba first, we are qualified, but they are attacking them.
Yes, it's quite interesting to watch how Oman is not protecting Guatemala. They're attacking instead Cuba, but sometimes they say that the best defense is the attack. So maybe it's not that bad. I mean, Guatemala is still 100 meters, like when they rounded the offset mark behind them. So I think the Team Oman, they're doing a good job to keep the distance with Guatemala and at the same time attack Cuba. They're going, I think, for all right now.
Right now, all teams are in one position. or one terrible position. They need to take the decision, will we do one jibe or two jibes to cross the finish line? Cuba has the advantage, as I see it. They can pressure Oman to go all the way to the right-hand side. And that could be good news for Guatemala, because then they can jibe behind and do the double jibe while the two others are battling. Or will they all go to the right-hand side? That is how the call is. While saying this, we can see that Mexico is rounding the offset mark, getting ready to go downwind with their spinnaker up. But it looks hard for them to capture the last 700 meters. But opposite the other teams, they are going to the right-hand side, taking one decision. But two penalties here, a penalty to Oman and a penalty to Guatemala. Low winds, Mexico can be in, so maybe the spirits will be with them this time.
maybe.
Because this is a close call, this is a battle.
This is, well, Mexico now is changing the game. They're going all the way to the right. They're just trying to look for that wind that they caught on the upwind to close the gap. They're a bit behind, but who knows? Maybe with this condition, with the wind being patchy, anything could happen. So I keep the spirits up for Mexico and keep pushing all the way to the end, and I know they will do so.
We know they will do so, and now, just as we described, Guatemala jibe behind the two battling boats, Cuba and Oman. So now Oman is in big trouble, because Cuba is sitting closer and closer to Oman, and Cuba can literally push Oman out of the game and have Guatemala qualify. Because if Cuba keeps Oman on that side and Oman is not reacting on it, then it's payback time of the last race.
Yes, definitely. Oman, like I said before, they're playing it very risky. They just have to secure the second place to be in the Gold Cup Finals series, and they let again Guatemala to go off on one side. They're still 100 meters ahead of Guatemala, but you don't know. Like this can change very quickly.
But see this beautiful picture. You can see Cuba, how they are approaching, getting closer and closer to Oman. Oman cannot do a jibe without losing all momentum. And if Cuba is jibing too early, then Oman will jibe on them and take their wind. So Cuba is forced to do one thing: pressure Oman way outside of the ley line and then cross in. And you can see that's what Cuba is doing right now. Oman is caught. What will Al-Hadi do here? What will the helm do? What will the tactician do? They need to do something. Either slow down the boat, jibe, and secure not getting caught by Guatemala, or follow Cuba and get pressured.
Yes, I think, well, you see now Guatemala gained a little bit on Oman, so it's interesting. They are probably getting a hotter angle. Maybe the wind shifted a little bit to the right, making them come in hotter towards the marks. Cuba is protecting Oman. Oman took the big risk going by themselves. Even Mexico gained a little bit of distance coming from that side.
Actually 120 meters going to the right-hand side. And with this light conditions and this distance towards the finish line, 700 meters, it's not over.
It's not over for Guatemala.
Oh,
now
Cuba is jibing. Oman is jibing, but who jibed the first? It looks like Oman took the first jibe and then Cuba followed them. But is that a good decision for Cuba? Because now Oman can cover Cuba.
No, they're clear of air. They're just protecting their position. Oman can attack. The jive was done by both of them at the same rhythm. The leading is going to stay the same, in my opinion. What's interesting is now Guatemala coming close, but they're not. Oh wait, you actually are right. Oman is now covering their wind.
Cuba, but they have to ride away on Guatemala. This is going to be a race down there. Cuba losing momentum. See, Cuba going close to Oman, and they're doing that because they have to ride away.
And they're hailing for protest. They're right of way.
Because Oman is not giving them room.
We'll see what the jury says.
The jury says. Oh, it's interesting. If there will be a penalty to Oman, Oman will be out of the race. No matter what, this doesn't change. But Guatemala coming with speed. But Guatemala needs to go behind two boats. It is the race for the finish line. The jury has not set any penalties. It was green.
Okay.
So Oman is clear, taking the lead.
And here we have Guatemala coming on board really hot towards them. They certainly made some distance.
Yeah, but they need to do a double jibe. The other teams also knew that. So Guatemala will have the right away when they're approaching the finish line.
Absolutely.
It's 3 boats, 3 times winners. All of them can win this race. Oman in the lead. Cuba needs to do something. They need to follow Guatemala or else they will lose this race. So they need to let Oman go. But they're following Oman.
And Oman is letting again Guatemala go on one side. Guatemala is going to come back towards the finish line with the favorite attack, and this is going to be very interesting all the way to the end.
It's all about who dares to jibe first. Guatemala has to ride away if they jibe in and come in with speed. Oman and Cuba needs to do another jibe. This is not over. Oman doing the jibing already. It's very early, so Cuba can cover them up, take their wind. Will Cuba make payback time? It is now. We are going to see who will follow us. No, Cuba going further out. The finish line is approaching. Cuba needs to go further out, not to get caught by Guatemala. What is Guatemala doing? They're already jibed in. Oman is in Bahrain, but will it be Guatemala? Will it be Cuba who has to ride away? There, Oman. There is
my
Cuba.
God, this is very tense for sure.
They're coming in. 2 boats. Guatemala goes after the penalty. And right now, Cuba is inside the mark rounding zone. Oman so pleased, but we need to see this battle. Will it be Cuba? Will it be Guatemala? It's... No! The penalty comes in, or what's happening? It's Cuba taking it. Guatemala tried to take the third. Congratulations, Oman. Congratulations, Cuba. Whoa, whoa, whoa. This was almost like virtual sailing. They did the tricks, and then Mexico coming in, you can see behind, did everything they could in the first race of today, but that start was hard of coming back to. But Cuba, the underdogs, almost losing it on the finish line, but qualified for Bahrain, and unlucky for Guatemala and Mexico. They really fought it in today in the first race. They are out of the SSL Gold Cup. But what a finish. Here we really saw rule number 10 coming into place 2 times.
Yes, and especially at the finish line. This was a very close call for Guatemala and Cuba. Guatemala did, I think, their best all the way to the end. They almost got Cuba. But I don't know how the math would work if Guatemala beats Cuba on this last race. Because they would be tied in points.
But then Guatemala would have qualified because they have more wins than Cuba.
The tiebreak would be for Guatemala. Okay, so then Guatemala fought all the way to the end. They did a spectacular last downwind. Almost got Cuba on that finish line coming on starboard. Cuba slipped away just by 1 meter. That was very close. That was exciting to see. That's for sure. On the Cuban side, they must have been high on the nerves at that point.
On this morning, we talked about the only way Oman can qualify is winning the 2 races on the Golden Day.
Yes, that's something.
And they won 2 races on the Golden Day. What a spectacular view of this crew. Al-Mazhari, Nasser Al-Mazhari, the captain must be very proud. Al-Hadi, all of them very, very proud. See there, they're so proud, cheering out, high-fiving. What happened? We came from 6 points, ending with 22, qualified to Bahrain. And this is what the race of the SSL Gold Cup can do, giving us these extraordinary moments. And maybe we will be so lucky that we can have a race replay of this fantastic race coming in. We are just waiting here while they are cheering. See, all the way up, and there our on-water reporter is trying to capture in the team. They're still speeding up. And there we have Team Mexico crossing the finish line.
Yes, go of Team Mexico.
Yeah.
They're just coming across. I'm very proud of the team. They did a great job for sure. They never give up. They fight all the way to the end. Didn't work out for us on this last race. It was something all or nothing, and it came not in our advantage.
Yeah. And with that said, let's go to the dancing boat of Team Oman. Rakela, try to if you can get into them. Congratulations out there.
Yes. So, well, this was amazing to see you win 2 races on the last day. And this celebration says a lot about your culture and how happy you are to go through.
Well, as I told you before, the racing haven't ended until we get first. So we get it first today. And 2 bullets, man, 2 bullets. This is a big job for the crew. So what I can say is well done for my crew, because they have done the job very well. So this is the time to go to Bahrain, I think. Okay, let's go to Bahrain!
I think the interview cannot get more serious than this, Thomas, because there's a lot of celebration on this boat. I mean, the guys are going to Bahrain, and it's close to where they live, so it's going to, I mean, it was important for them, I think, to be there.
Fantastic. Thank you, Rakela. And just enjoy these photos, beautiful photos of a winning team coming in here.
What is the point?
So they're asking for the points out there, and we can have the overall result here. 22 points for Oman, 22 points for Cuba, and then 18 points Guatemala, 16 points for Team Mexico. And if you look overall here, hey, a victory for all teams actually. That's amazing in this format.
I think this is a great format. This is something we've been talking about between captains and other crew members, how great the format is. It's exciting to watch. I think all of them have always an opportunity to have a comeback, and this is what we want to see. We want to see all the teams to be able to be winning, and winning especially at the end, and this is what we saw with Team Oman. I congratulate all the winner teams. They did a great job today.
And if you want to see more pictures and see more about the SSL Gold Cup, then see, they're just celebrating. They're throwing the captain in the water. What are they doing there? Oh yeah, they tried to throw him in the water there, but that's how it is. And with those beautiful pictures of what they're doing there, if you want to see more about all this, follow us on the social medias. Maybe something interesting is going to happen that we are not capturing here on these pictures. Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Just go in SSL Gold Cup, and then let's see the race replay of this fantastic day. And now we can see in the pictures Team Cuba is here, and our on-water reporter is trying to capture up with Team Cuba, the underdogs that qualified. And let's see, Rakela, she's just in the boat. We can see here in the bow, one of the guys sitting and relaxing. They must be very happy. You can also see celebrating. Rakela, hugging and everything. Man, so Rakela, how's it going out there for Team Cuba?
How is it going, guys? Are you celebrating?
We are very happy. We are very happy. We were working very hard. Both races. Hard in the downwind. Complicated for us. We have to work on that. But we are very happy. We're very excited. We dedicate this to all the people who is following us in our country, around the world, especially to our families. They are waking up very early every morning to see us here.
What does that mean for you, for Team Cuba, for sailing in Cuba?
Look, my skin is like a chicken. Maybe all of them is the same. We are. This for us is the word. We are very thankful for that.
Nelido, I know you don't like speaking English, but we need to hear the voice of the captain. The camera is over there, please. So, Nelido, ¿qué pasa con esta victoria?
Sin palabras.
Without words. Yeah,
Muy
you're without words.
Muy contento con la tripulación que prácticamente no conocíamos la embarcación. Pudimos hacer un buen entrenamiento gracias a Paul, que nos ayudó mucho, gracias al equipo de Nueva Zelanda, Francia, los chicos que están trabajando acá con todo el evento, en el apoyo con los barcos. En fin, tenemos que agradecerle a muchas personas.
He says he has to thank many people, the people they trained with. They were there last week with Team France, with New Zealand, so that helped a lot. But I mean, they're just very happy, huh? So it's a good thing for Cuba now to be in the final.
Very good. It's very good. I am so happy.
Yes.
Say hello to my family, all our friends. I am cried.
No, don't.
Yeah.
It's a happy cry, Nelido, no? A happy cry.
Thank you, everybody.
There's emotions on board Team Cuba.
Yeah, beautiful,
That's good.
beautiful pictures. A very happy captain. They were the underdogs. They were practicing on the boat first time last week, and now they qualified to Bahrain. And let's end up seeing the overall result. How it ended up, because it was the most closest race we actually been seeing, Yannick, on these waters here on the Lake Neuchâtel. Cuba 22 points, Oman 22 points, Guatemala and Mexico actually 18 and 16 points. So a small change of position and everything has looked a whole other way while they're celebrating here. So that's amazing.
Yes, like we talked before the race started, the last race, or the day started, that the last race was going to be the one to decide who is going to come to the next round, and we saw it here, and we actually saw it all the way until the end. Nothing was already written. We saw this all in the last meters towards the finish line. They all did a great job, and I congratulate all of the teams who worked so hard to be here and pushing and wishing them luck for the upcoming events.
And there we have it. End score 22 points Oman, 22 Cuba, 18 Guatemala, 16 to Mexico. And right now they're sailing to port, where you later on the social medias can see the celebration of all the teams at the ending ceremony, the celebration ceremony here in the HQ of the SSL Gold Cup. And then let's see what it's all about. They qualified for the finals in Bahrain.
Minus 10, 9, 8. We have a go for main engine start. We have main engine start. 4, 3, 2, 1.
What a beautiful place to do these finals of the SSL Gold Cup, the Football World Cup, but in sailing. Two teams qualified today. It was Cuba and it was Oman. Next week, we are going to see round 5. In 2 weeks, we're going to see two groups. Group 7 with China, India, Malaysia, and South Africa. And Group 8, South Korea, Singapore, Thailand, and Ukraine. And that's also going to be two very, very exciting groups doing 6 races, each of them, here in the end of July, the 14th to the 17th of July on Lake Neuchâtel in the SSL Gold Cup. And with all this said, Yannick, it was a great pleasure to have such a competent guy like you in the studio. I know you better be on the water and fighting together with your team.
Yes, I mean the decision was a good decision to have the team like it was today, the format, and we're still stick with this decision. We have a great team, no matter what who is on board. We can all be out there and fighting in the front. Today it didn't work out for us. It worked out better for the other team. But as we saw, this was decided all the way up until the end of the day, not before. So I congratulate my team. Congratulate each one of them did a great job, and I'm happy that they pushed all the way to the end.
But most of all, it's not over yet, because the SSL Gold Cup is much more than just the World Cup. There's also coming the Continentals. This is something continue. So now you guys know what it is. You know the grab. You're so close of qualifying to the finals. So of course we're looking forward to see Team Mexico coming into the next finals and qualifying for that one.
Absolutely. This is the beauty of this sport, or any kind of sport. You learn from the losses, and you come back stronger, and that's what we're going to do.
And with all that said, huge thank you for all of you watching this, and also those of you waking up early in the morning. My name was Thomas Bjørndytti, and I was your host in this fantastic event. And together with me, I had the great pleasure of having Team Mexico's captain, Yannick Gentry, sitting here. Yannick, do you want to say anything to the sailing fans out there in the world?
Well, I want to say thank you for following the team, following this process. This is certainly not the first time we're going to be here. We're going to fight our way back. We have a great team. We managed to have the best Mexican sailors on board. It didn't work out the way we wanted, but I'm very happy that of hearing all the people who were cheering for us at home. I want you to keep the spirits up, because next time we're going to be in the finals.
And with all that said, remember you can follow the SSL Gold Cup and also all the SSL teams, SSL Team and then Mexico, on Instagram, on Facebook, and then you can see much more what's happening, and also the ceremony we're having later. With all that said, thank you, Yannick, for joining, and thank you for all of you out there. Let's see the replays of the whole race today.
Thank you, Thomas.
for main engine start. We have main engine start. 4,